A very good evening, one and all. I would like to welcome all of you to the final round of Crowd Hacks. Firstly, I would like to congratulate all of the participants who have made it this far because there were two rounds before and it was really hectic. And now, I would like to introduce all of you to our judges for today. Firstly, Mr. Maximo Stoi. He's a front and back developer and he has worked for various firms over the years. Then, Ms. Tatiana Pashina. She has worked at various positions like NLP developer, NLP engineer, senior software developer, and technical lead. Mr. Vedant Behel, who is a TEDx speaker and a research intern at the University of Alberta. Mr. Aditya Oberoi, he works as a DevRel engineer for AppWrite. And finally, Mr. Arsh Koyal, who is a NIT Jalandhar gold medalist and works for Samsung. We are glad to have you all here with us today. And now, let us begin the event. I'll be inviting the first team on the call. And the first team on the call for today is Team Rebel. The track chosen is Open Innovation, and the topic of idea pitch is a chatter, which is a web extension bot. Please invite Team Rebel on the stage.
Hi guys, hello.
Hello guys.
Good evening, guys. Vijay, can you please share the screen?
Yeah, just a minute.
And Vijay, I'll be starting a stopwatch right now for 10 minutes, okay?
Okay.
So I'll be checking your time right now. And as
Yeah,
soon
sure.
as the 10 minutes stop, I'll just stop your time.
Okay.
Just tell me when you're ready to start, okay?
Okay. Samir, are you ready?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
can
Good
start.
evening. Good evening, everyone. So for the past 2 days, we've been working on a web extension which we want to share with you guys. So welcome to Chatter. Okay, so the overview I've been talking about are the problems and how the existing apps face those problems and how Chatter is different. So let's just say you are on a you have a lunch break and you have 20 minutes left. So like anyone, you go to YouTube and you want to watch a short film or something to have fun. So do you really want to spend half of the time just scrolling to everything and sometimes not even finding a video? So how our web extension helps you is, so let's say you are on a streaming video or or any educational videos and you want to talk to people anonymously. So our extension is just a pop-up which helps you to talk to people around the globe. So for to talk to people anonymously, or you want to reveal who you are, there are existing apps already in the market: WhatsApp, Discord, and Telegram. So the problem with these things is WhatsApp and Telegram, you need to know who the person is, and for Discord, let's say you just want a single bit of suggestion. So you want to join their group or follow and read everything the Discord has. But in Chatter, we deal with those problems in a very specific way. Next slide, please. So, okay. So Chatter is just a pop-up. Okay. You don't need to change the tab. Let's say you're watching a NBA final and every second counts in the NBA final, right? So you want to talk to people or someone you know. So you just click on the extension and it's just a pop-up. So there is no need for you to change the tab and possibly miss the action. It's anonymous so that there is no reason for you to tell who you are or from where you are. And the best thing is we don't ask for your credentials, your mail ID or your mobile number, so that we don't want to just give you an extra baggage. So the technology we use for this is Flutter and Node.js for the WebSocket, and we want to host it in Alibaba Cloud for our backend server. And Vijay will go through the demo right now.
So let's say I'm in Khan Academy right now. I want to learn circuit analysis or something. So I'm just watching some video and I have some doubt. I want it to be clarified by some person immediately. So let me just open the extension. This is Chatter. Here it is. So let me just create a room, or let's say there will be people on the website. So I'll just go to join room. So yeah, entering a room. Now I can message someone. So yeah, this is how the chatter is actually working. It's taking a very less space, and it is convenient to use, and there'll not be any problems. So Nivas,
Chatter is basically to talk with people who are on the same website as you. Like if someone else is on the same website, like Khan Academy in this case, it will show you like, in the join room space, it will show you who else are on the same website, and you can connect with them and you can ask your doubt, or you can discuss something and stuff like that. Actually, this is just the front end part. We are unable to connect the back end to this, unfortunately, due to some WebSocket problem. But this is basically how it works. It will show you all the people who are present on the website actively right now, and you can talk to them anonymously without login, without sign up, anything. And you can create your rooms as well and share them with your friends. You can talk to them as well. Yeah, basically that's pretty much it. If you have any doubts, you can ask us.
Let me go first. So it's a really good project. It's really interesting. A lot of times we have questions while watching some video or want to discuss something. My question is, you said that you'll have people in this room who are on the same website. Is it just the same website, or are they on the same screen of the website? For example, if I have question related to circuit in this case, so will I have people who are watching the same video, or
It's the website.
it's just the website.
Okay, so basically right now we are using the website URL. If people are on the same URL, then it will show them. But we can make it like same website, like not the whole URL, but khanacademy.org. If people are on Khan Academy itself, then they can talk to each other.
yeah, but then there are a lot of people on Khan Academy at the same
Yeah,
time
yeah,
studying
that's the thing.
many
So-
different subjects.
Yeah, so we went with the whole URL, like khanacademy.org/science/ the whole thing, whole part. Then
Okay.
people will be less right. Like, yeah.
I think
Guys,
Aditya Oberoi has some.
Yeah, hi, thank you. So I think it's definitely an interesting solution, because with any of these educational platforms, at least ones that may not necessarily always have an inbuilt chat solution, this does potentially help a lot. I think first thing I wanted to ask on, and I'm sorry if I missed on this, but I just wanted to check. When someone inputs a message, is there
Okay.
a username or a name? What exactly is shown for each account?
So we thought of two options. Like whenever they install the extension initially,
Mhm.
they can add their username and it will be saved. And whenever they message, that will be shown as their username. Or the other thing is anonymous, like there won't be any username or anything, but they can talk to each other.
So that actually brings a concern for me, because
Okay.
potentially, if anyone goes anonymous, you have other people active, whether in rooms or otherwise. And anyone who's choosing not to showcase or hides their actual identity could potentially use a platform like this to bully other people, or unfortunately possibly harass as well. So is there any sort of idea or thought that has gone to prevent such scenarios as well?
Yeah, we thought of that scenario, but we don't have an exact solution for that. We are thinking, but we can do something like if anybody reports him or something, we can add a report option, or probably a AI blocker or something to prevent the wrong messages. We don't have an exact solution right now, but yeah, we thought of that.
Yeah, probably can add something which reads the context of the message and red flags it and blocks it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, something like that.
I can see
Yeah,
Maxim's
Max.
had out. Yes.
yeah, so I have a question, just two questions to the guys. Like, first one, what is your technical solution about the tracking who is actually available on the website in the current moment? This is regarding the users. And second question, did you think about the load? How did you handle the load you will have, for example, on the big websites where there are like million users and they will start spamming in the chat about some messages if like your app works across the website, not across the specific URL? So what is your idea as to how you're gonna handle it?
Okay, so for a first question, to get the users list, we are using WebSockets right now. So we'll automatically have the list of the users. Whenever a user opens the extension, it will automatically be pushed into the user list and will show all the users present in a particular URL. We are doing that using WebSockets. And for your second question, coming to the load, we haven't really thought about it because, I mean, people, if to be like, the extension should be with them, right? For the load to be high, like not everyone will have the extension initially. So we haven't thought about it actually, but yeah, we don't have a solution for handling the load yet.
Okay, thank you for your answers.
Yeah, thanks.
Any more questions from any judges?
Yeah. Hi, team.
Hi.
Yeah. So I was looking forward to I got your idea. The concept is nice. Like in future, how you're planning to scale it? Let's talk about if we talk about the financial terms or something. So how it is like? Have you thought of in that way?
Yeah, we thought of a freemium model. Like basically, only the chat section will be free. Like people can join a room and they can chat with other people online. But if they want to create some private rooms to chat with their friends, it will be a freemium model. And we also wanted to add the voice chat feature. That will also
Okay.
be a premium model. Yeah.
Got it. Understood.
Yeah.
Any more doubts? I think no. So that will be all, team. Now I'll request you to drop this, this presentation of yours and just to drop out of the call.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
The next team here with us today is Technovation. The track chosen is Open Innovation, and their topic is Smart Attachment for Ventilators. Team
Hello,
Technovation.
everyone. Am I audible?
Akash, let me just tell you that a stopwatch will be running for 10 minutes, okay?
Yeah,
So tell me when you can start.
Yeah, just I wanted to know, am I audible to everyone?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So I'll just share my screen. So my screen is visible, right?
Yes. Can I start?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
So hello, everyone. My name is Akash Pandey, and I'm here from Team Technovation to represent my idea. Its name is Smart Attachment. So just a elevator pitch. So the idea is to create a smart attachment which will be attached at the ends of a ventilator. And this will enable us to ventilate multiple patients using single ventilator. That is, we can ventilate more than one patient using just one ventilator. Further, the attachments enables remote access to the doctors to control various parameters of the patient and making process faster, cheaper, and cost effective. So this is the number of ventilators in every state, distribution of ventilators across the nation. It's basically from India. So you can clearly see that we have only one ventilator for every 2.8 crore Indians. For reference, according to UN, a country should have at least one ventilator for every 1,000 citizens. But here we have one ventilator for 2.8 crore people. So it's already, you can see the data itself. So further, because of this lack only, a lot of alarming situations create every day in lots of big hospitals in India. So I just want to tell you about the ventilator, what a ventilator is in a layman's language. So it's just a simple device. It helps a person in its respiration process. So there are two ports, and one is incoming port and another is outgoing ports. So the incoming brings the oxygen rich air, and the outgoing takes the carbon dioxide rich air. And what exactly it does is it helps the person's lungs to during respiration. So if the person is able to breathe 70%, so 30% of the work will be done by ventilator itself. So it will assist the person in his respiration process. Okay, so this is the simple working of a ventilator. So during the current situation, that is whenever there is a shortage of ventilator in any hospital, so there are already norms what the hospital has to do in order to deal with this shortage. So this is a video of of Max hospital, and the doctor is explaining how to ventilate multiple patients. So all these sacks represent patients. So he's showing how you can ventilate 4 patients using just one ventilator. So currently, as you can see, the ventilator is attached to one patient only. So I'll just play the video, and you all can just hear him out actually. Yeah. So I just want to know, is the voice of the person is coming, or shall I translate? Just anyone can just tell me. Rohan?
Play it for a while.
Yeah, please play it.
Achha.
It's not really audible.
Okay. So I'll just explain it on my own. So currently this ventilator is ventilating one patient. Okay. So what they do is they use a 4-way splitter. So this is a 4-way splitter. This is a simple pipe just which has 4 exits. Okay, so it is known as 4-way splitter. So what they do is they just attach the splitter at the ends of the input and output port of the ventilators, and then they ventilate all the 4 patients. So just explaining the 4-way splitter. Now he has attached the splitters at the end of ventilator, as you can see, and then he has ventilated all of them. So you can see the 4-way splitters. Okay, so you can see the attachment, and this is how they ventilate for multiple patients using one ventilator in the current scenario. So, but there was a problem with this particular attachment that we found out, and this after going through, we had done a lot of literature review also, like to get down to the problems, and we found 3 main problems. And the 3 main problems are that is equal pressure at the ends of the ports. Then second was the chances of no individual medication was possible, and there was chances of cross contamination. So how it is going, I'll just explain with this photo itself. So let's say if you are giving some particular pressure at this particular end, then it will distribute into 4 equal parts at the outlet. Because of this, you can't ventilate 4 different patients at a time. That is, if you want to ventilate all the 4 different patients, then they should have identical medical terms. That is, their lung size should be same, their weight should be same, their capacity should be same. That is, you can't ventilate a 15-year-old boy or a 30-year-old man at the different ports. So this is only used when the situation is out of control, like the person is going to die anyways if you can't ventilate him. So what we have done is we have attached a unidirectional flow control valve. Okay, so these are the valves. These are electronically controlled, and they are unidirectional in nature. So they just regulate the pressure at the ends of each of the ports. So the pressure comes from, like, if the air is coming here, they will regulate the pressure, and we'll get a regulated outlet pressure at the outlet of each port. Okay, and further, these are unidirectional. That is, so there are no chances of cross contamination in this particular case. So we have completely eliminated all the 3 things that were there, all the 3 problems. This is the model of the prototype. I'll show you in the future slides also. The prototype, we have made it in CAD model. Okay, so from this port, the input port, we connect the ventilators, input and output port to the attachment, and then from individual 1, 2, 3, 4, all these output port are used to ventilate different patients. So you can see the setup here also. So earlier it was directly getting connected to the patient. Now it is going to the this splitter, and then it is coming to the patient. Okay. Further, this ventilator is like, you can't access this ventilator remotely, but these attachments are have IoT sensors and IoT comes, so you can remotely access this attachment. In turns, you can actually remotely access the whole system. So this is how the person will the doctor can see not on his screen. So if there is an app where he'll see the ventilator number on which the attachment is attached, and all the patients who are getting ventilated through that particular ventilator. And if someone is really ill, then it will get highlighted, and the doctor can change the pressure or whatever he wants from the app itself. So we haven't made an app. I'm from mechanical background, so we are more focused on the hardware terms itself. So this app, from this app, he can just control the parameters of the patient and can from a remote location. So because of this IoT term, we are getting two more things, that is remote access of ventilator, and this also reduces the workload of all the doctors. Okay, so how we are planning to sell it? So like the schools and all the buildings, when they have their audit, fire audit is there. So during that fire audit, they number of fire extinguisher are being checked according to the size of the building. Okay, so they tell this much amount of this many number of fire extinguishers you should have. Similarly, when there is a medical audit for an hospital, during that we can include our attachment key. Okay, if you have, let's say, 10 ventilators, then you should at least have 5 attachments, so that in case of emergency where 40 patients need to be ventilated, you can easily ventilate them using this technology. So this is the way we are trying to sell it. So these are the 6 main impacts from the solution. So first is all the 3 that we have seen in the research paper. We have completely eliminated all the 3 problems. Then the possibility of remote monitoring is also there, and the doctor's workload also get decreased. Further, the last and the most important aspect is the cost. So making one attachment costs just around 15,000 rupees, whereas one ventilator, the lower end model, costs us 20 lakh rupees. And further, one attachment can work similar to 4 ventilators. So anyway, it's way cheaper than the final options. I have the time, or is it over? Actually, this is the model. This is the CAD model.
You do have a minute.
This is the CAD model, and this is the input port from which we are connecting our ventilators, and these are the output ports from which we will just connect the patient. And you can see the valves inside this thing, and we have given knobs also, so in case of any technical failure, the doctors can even change it using the knobs and all the electronic displays. So I thought we won't have time, so now in future what we are trying is, so the valve that we have shown you here during the PPT, this valve, this gel pack valve, it cost us 2,000 rupees for one valve itself. So from 20,000 cost of the attachment, 8,000 is just for the cost of valve. So we are trying to make this valve, this is electronically controlled valve, we are trying to make it mechanically using compliant mechanism. So this is the mechanism we have used. We haven't made it yet in 3D, but we have done its computer simulations, and we are using this type of mechanism so as to regulate the pressure. So this will help us in now the entire thing can be 3D printed, so the cost of each attachment will come down. That's why
Akash, your time is up.
Yeah, so pretty much it. Thank you.
Jatish, now you can ask your questions.
Hi Akash, nice presentation. So
Thanks.
I really didn't understand, like I have some doubts. I didn't understand what did you do? Because there are one-way valves which already exist,
Yes, sir,
which are...
There were problems in those valves. These were the main problems.
That's the problem with splitter, isn't it?
Yes, sir. So this was this problem with this particular splitter.
Splitter, right?
Yes.
And you used valve for that purpose to eradicate that problem.
Yes, sir. We have used valves to regulate this pressure.
Yeah, and that was electronic valve.
That was electronic valve.
But there are already mechanical one-way valves which already exist, which are based on spring. You're from mechanical, probably you know about those.
Yes, sir. But then if we have a mechanical valve, we won't be able to regulate it from a remotely. But if we have electronically controlled valve, then this valve, we can attach a microcontroller and we can control the valves. Then we can make an app like in Blink or anything, and we can regulate these valves from a remote position. Like in case of COVID, you don't need to go near the person.
Got it. But then in your presentation at last, you said that you are planning to use mechanical valve in future.
So in valves, there are two things to regulate a pressure. One is used to turn on and turn off the pressure, and another is the blocking mechanism. So that blocking mechanism, we are trying to make it mechanically. Here it occurs with the help of a lever, which is being pulled down with the help of all this electronic circuit and all those stuff. But with that costs us a lot, because they have to make it very precise to control the pressure of 2 to 2.5 psi. So we are trying to eliminate that mechanism. We are trying to make our own mechanism so that we can even eliminate this cost also. But still, the mechanism have to be lowered down with any electronic devices. But then we don't need these valves. We can use even this thing now. there is a what we say this. We press the button and it just rotates and pushes
Fine,
down the
fine.
particular.
All right.
I'm not getting the name actually.
So that's fine. I guess
If we get analog output to that, then it rotates according to the input that we have given it. Like if,
all right. Maybe Max can go next.
My question is, does that split affect the ventilator? Because like you were saying that you want to make some economy on that, but whether it can affect the durability of that ventilator, because instead of the one patient, we will have more. And I realized that valves can help with that, but still, like, did you count it when you was developing the idea?
Definitely, sir. Like, so ventilators, pressure doesn't affect the ventilator because they are meant for delivering a particular amount of pressure, and it is way beyond the what we are actually. So it is in the factor of 2 to 10 psi's. Okay, and the ventilator is made for 100 to 200 psi's, the maximum values. So even if you for the good ventilators like the one we see in the hospitals, if we are able to, if we ventilate 1,000 or like 100 patients also, not 150 patients also, then also it will come up to 100 psi only. So you can go up to the number whichever you can handle. This affects in case of mechanical ventilator where they use the small bump is there and they try to press it so that deliver the oxygen. At those cases we can't imply this mechanism because they don't even able to manage for one patient itself. But for the ventilators which are there already in the setup, you can always use them.
Okay, thank you for the answer.
Any more doubts? I think no. So thank you for the ideas, Akash. You can leave now. And please close the PPT.
Yeah, thank you, Tejas.
And now I welcome the third team for the day, the Orange Kadoos. Their track is inclusion, and the topic of idea pitch is period SOS app.
Hi.
Team Orange Kadoos, I'll be starting a 10-minute stopwatch. So whenever you are ready, just ping me, okay?
Yeah, just 1 second. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. Yeah. Ready.
Yeah, sure. Start.
All right. Good evening, judges. So we are Team Orange Kaddu, and here's our app pitch. So we have chosen the track inclusion, specifically focusing on one particular social norm women face. So the problem that we are tackling is that many times women are in need of sanitary products and they might not be in the comfort of their homes. So this idea was brought up keeping in mind the scenario of our college campus and specifically classrooms where we are in a crowd and not able to actually walk out immediately looking for products. So were there existing solutions to this? Well, yes, there were quite a few period tracker apps and a lot of apps that provided help and helped you prepare to face such a situation. So all of these apps had few features in common, and that was these were either PMS support apps or they tracked your cycle with the calendar, or they provided some sort of consultation and recommendation, perhaps some blog or article. Some of these apps even offered features to predict when your next cycle could occur, but none of them helped you recover from such a situation. Suppose you're unprepared and, well, oops, what next? So here's where we brought in Aphrodite. So Aphrodite is a period SOS app which girls can use to seek for help and basically sanitary products when in time of need. So it's a step towards humanity, and it allows users to connect with seekers anonymously and help them. Why the name Aphrodite? Well, as we all know, Aphrodite is the Greek goddess of beauty and self regeneration and love. And that's the reason we chose Lotus to be our logo. It represents our brand and how we are trying to bring out this entire self regeneration phase when you actually face such a oopsie situation. So it's not exactly your regular period tracker app. We have some special features like SOS. We help network with people. We allow location tracking. While we are also trying to help people, we can maintain anonymity. We are leveraging upon notifications in our app, and we have a small gamification model for users, and we provide some added benefits to subscribers. After everything, there's of course a feel good factor. So here's the tech stack.
So basically, we will be using Firebase Auth for the sign-in and login systems, nearby messages API. So what we are trying to do is whoever the person met in the last 24 hours, it will store the data of the person, whoever they met, and it will notify the person that someone is in need in your immediate surroundings. Then we are using MongoDB for the database, location API, chat, and voice call. So we are using in-app voice call by using Agora's API instead of sharing phone numbers because we want to maintain anonymity. We are using FCM to notify the user if someone is in need or if someone accepts the request for help. A places API to search for a pharmacy nearby. This can be used by the seeker or the helper, whoever wants it. And there's a pay API if someone wants to like donate stuff or we'll come to our business model in the next slides. Over to you.
Yeah. So, like I've mentioned, a little gamification model that we have, this was basically to provide an incentive for users. So, we begin by earning whenever users help each other. We have this little system of humanity points, and users earn those humanity points by helping others. These points accumulate to achieve badges, and these badges can also be shared via your social media, because why not? You are doing something really good by helping someone in need, and ultimately users can use these badges and these points to redeem vouchers. So now, where exactly do we get these vouchers from? That's our business model, and we are hoping to rely upon corporate companies to fund us, and we are relying upon this a scheme called corporate social responsibility, where all these corporate companies have to donate 2% of their annual revenue into NGOs and startups which are doing any activity or any social good or any charity work. So we were hoping to leverage upon that. Now, well, for our subscribers, any premium users of our app get access to some more features, basically some more history data, which we will be recording, but we are not sharing it with everyone in the all our users. So only premium users get access to this. This project is also open to donations, and apart from this, our premium users also get 1.5 times the humanity points that they normally would have scored. And another thing is that we are helping upscale local pharmacies and local startups which are involved with logistics. So every time, suppose the person, a girl, doesn't is not able to find any sanitary product, and if a friend is trying to come over and help her, even if they don't have the product, they will want to go via a pharmacy, buy it, slash they might order it from a logistics service. So that is one way we are actually helping local pharmacies as well. So yeah, we would now like to show you our prototype. So basically, first we began by doing all our research. We created low fidelity wireframes, and thereby we created our palette, worked on our mockups, we created a little UI, and we've tried to implement our best to implement it. So this was the notification screen that we had hoped for, and once you get such a notification on your Android app, you either have the option of chatting with the person or you can ignore this. But of course, it would be a better option if you would speak with them and reach out, help them eventually. So we have a regular SOS button right at your home screen because we wanted to focus on a user-centric approach. So once the button is clicked, a signal is sent, and the person who have been in contact within the last 24 hours can get notified, and thereon the chat can proceed, and the person can be called, since we said we are using Agora's API for the voice calling feature. They can then talk forth and coordinate and help each other out. So several things over here. Firstly, we are not using our real name. We will be using aliases to maintain anonymity, because this app could be misused otherwise, and we don't really want to announce about this much. And yep. So over to you, Yash. Would you like to show the prototype?
Yeah, just a sec.
Yeah.
Is my screen visible?
Yep.
Okay, so this is our app. Just a sec. So basically, this is our homepage where the girl can reach out for help, and when she clicks, so basically we were 3 members, so we each of us got a notification via this, and if they accept, we'll get a response for that. This is like the requests which we got while we were testing the app, and this is the chat model. So we can go over here and chat with anyone, the persons who accepted our request, and talk to them about like whatever problems they are facing, and if they are genuine helpers or not. So we have coupons. Right now we haven't added any coupons because like we don't have any in our profile. We can see whatever achievements we have and whatever like how many people we have helped so far. So yeah, and privacy policy, FAQs and stuff. So that's it. Niharika, back to you.
Yep. So that summarizes our
Is that the end? Niharika, Yash.
Yeah, that's all from our side.
Okay. So I guess let's start with Vedant again. So please ask him your question.
Sorry, I was not audible.
No, you were not audible at all.
I'm sorry. Sorry, this something messed up. Yes, but that was the end of our presentation, our product. So yeah.
Okay. So I have a couple of questions here, right? So the first thing is when someone clicks on SOS, does it send notification to only those who are in contact with them on the app and were nearby to them in contact with them, or does it send it to everyone within a range?
So it sends notification to the people you have met in the last 24 hours. It uses the same concept as in Arogya Setu, nearby messages. So when you come in close proximity of an Android device which has the same app installed, we'll get exchange a handshake. So we'll know that this person was in contact in the last 24 hours. So maybe they will be in close range. So when the girl reaches out for help, they will be notified.
But at that moment, at that specific moment, you don't really track who is nearby.
No, but we will be sharing the location of the seeker and the helper, so that they know how far they are from the person who is asking for the help.
Okay, second question regarding premium, you said you will be sharing more of an history data, which I didn't understand. What does that mean?
So basically, we will be maintaining anonymity in this app. We won't be sharing any, like the charts will be only visible for the time being the SOS is being sent. And once the uh, help is done, so the charts will be cleared after that, because we don't want to store any data. Uh, so they can access their previous charts and ask the previous helper to help again if they want to. So they don't have to like reach out for help to an anonymous person again.
Okay, so if it's a bad thing and if anonymity is necessary, then you're doing a great thing in the free thing, like in the free version. And if it's a bad thing, then why are you introducing it again for the premium version?
Well, it's not a bad thing. If someone helped you, you can ask the same person again for help. So
Okay.
it can help you again. Like you'll know for sure that that person might help.
Third thing is, okay, the app is good. The idea is really good. Something should be worked on. But it's not just the solution is not just the app, but the whole ecosystem that needs to be developed, because you need users on the app. And what I assume is, if, for example, there is a girl who faces the problem, they'll probably call someone, a friend or someone who she knows is nearby, and will get help, right? So that's how it usually probably it works. And now in this case, you need whole ecosystem to develop that. So I know it's not a B-plan competition, so I won't be asking much questions about it, but do you have any thoughts on that area?
Yeah, so this idea originated from a situation where I was not able to call up my friend or something like that, and I was in a class, and in such a situation I can neither excuse myself and walk out, nor can I actually ask somebody who's either next to me or behind me and something like that. So I needed a way which I could notify people around me, and I wish there was an app like this, people who might be using this. So such a service would have come in very handy. And my hostel block was quite far away. So even if I would have walked all the way till my hostel block, I mean, it would have taken too much of time. It would not have been convenient.
Okay. Okay. Now, last is something which I'm suggesting, which kind of is rough, so it can be wrong. That's just a suggestion. So there's two part of the app. One is the helper and one is the seeker. So I think on the helper side, it maybe having a pharmacy kind of makes more sense in case you're notifying the nearest pharmacy of this need, and the pharmacy gets you the sanitary pads delivered, something like that, instead of people who are contact, because that sounds more viable to me. That's it. All right, thank you.
Yeah. So when you would contact a pharmacy, who exactly would bring the product to you? Pharmacies here in Tamil Nadu don't really do that. I mean, you know, all the taboo and stigma that goes around this topic. So
I mean,
they are.
they're already like pharmacy delivery apps, right? You can connect with them. Probably that can act as one of the business
Yeah, but
segment of.
they don't deliver it at the moment. They deliver it to you in like 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, that's what the business plan is to develop on for instant delivery. There are grocery which are getting delivered in 4 and 5 minutes with the new upcoming startup. Probably that can be implemented here. So that was just a rough suggestion.
We'll work on it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tatiana, ma'am, feel free to ask your questions.
Okay, thank you. So I want to tell that the idea is very good, because actually also like in Russia, we can't get any seeker who will come like from a pharmacy and will deliver sanitary pads. So idea is very good. I have a question. How are you going to maintain databases of nearby shops and nearby pharmacies?
So we will be using the Google Places API to provide us details with the pharmacies which are nearby.
Okay, but it's still not clear like who should go to pharmacy. Okay, I know that I have pharmacy nearby from your application, but then what is next step?
So when you're not in a situation to go to the pharmacy and buy the product yourself, you seek out for help using our app, and the person who is actually coming to help you, what if they don't have it either, but they're trying to help you? So on the way, they can go to the nearest pharmacy, and that's when they can come to you. It could be on the way. That's the reason we're also providing location data, and we'll also be showing which are the nearby pharmacies to your location.
Okay. Then also you shared one screen with people who are nearby, and they have some date. And the date, like number was 1970. What does it mean? It means when this person last time was on app.
Which screen? I'm sorry.
Yash was showing some screen with like some names, and there were dates, and dates were from 1970.
Yeah, we just used the placeholder dates for now, epoch time.
Okay.
So,
okay, but actually, what does this date mean?
this date mean like when so the charts will be only displayed when the seeker seeks out for help. So when they responded to that help, it's that timestamp.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any more questions.
Vidya, sir.
Yeah, hi. First of all, really good idea.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think on the business model, considering something had been discussed around delivery, I personally don't think that would necessarily be viable in this sort of a model. And the reason for that is pharmaceuticals versus groceries are a whole different matter. And secondly, that would add a massive logistical component and an entirely separate function feature of your organization. So rushing that into this application at the moment does not make sense. And secondly, I think having a people component, I kind of like the idea because I see what I've seen similar discussions, similar ideas. The way our communities function are practically on similar models, and I have seen people get help in these manners. What I will say though is on your business model, I wouldn't want to create a dependency on CSR. And the reason for that is it effectively takes control of your business model out of your hands. Suppose someone is, or the brands or the organizations you reach out to for support are not able to at the moment, or they've chosen to invest somewhere else. It totally puts your revenue stream down to zero. What I would instead do is I would still consider partnering with other delivery platforms or local pharmacies for that matter, considering that, that is a part of your initiative. And I would have them on board and allow someone to book or purchase orders, whether it's delivery or whether it's a pickup. And that could allow someone to anonymously set up those orders, although while it still encourages it's not fighting the stigma, to be honest. But if that's a problem I would recommend thinking about, because it could potentially allow you to onboard pharmacies for a certain cost, and allow people to purchase, set up those orders through their phones directly at times of need, or maybe planning orders, automating those for based on menstrual cycles is also something you could think about. So I think that could potentially open up a revenue stream which doesn't necessarily depend on an organization willing to donate or invest. It could allow you to actually have a model that still enables revenues while allows you to support local pharmacies as well, as you mentioned.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Any more questions?
Good luck, Niharika and Yash. I think you should continue with the project. It has a great scope and something which is much needed.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's the end. So, Team Orange Kaddu, you can leave now. And thanks for the presentation.
Thank you.
And now I
Thank you for
present,
us.
yeah, sure.
Thank you.
And now I present the fourth team for the day, Team Capacitors. Their track chosen is inclusion, and their topic of idea pitch is Uzhavu. How is it pronounced? Uzhavu? Team Capacitors, you may speak.
Sorry, it's Uravu.
Yeah, Uzhavu, the same. Team Capacitors, you need to open your cameras for the presentation. Yeah.
So may we start, sir?
Yeah, I'll be starting a stopwatch. Just tell me when you are ready. Are you ready?
Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah, sure, then start.
A very happy evening to all. This is Shamim Fatima representing my team Capacitors from St. Joseph College of Engineering, Chennai. Now let us move into the presentation. Our project is named Ulavu. It is an agricultural supply chain. It is economically balanced and benefiting the farmer community. The aim of it is to transform India into a digitally empowered society, which we think is possible only when things start right from a farmer. Here we have three main problem statements. The first one is the poor economic status of farmers. The situation of them is due to the unbalanced flow of money to intermediate people like wholesalers, retailers, etc. The second one is the discrepancies happening on a daily basis in the supply chain. The next is the less impact of Digital India program in our country's agricultural sector. Here, let us see some statistics supporting the problem statement. More than half of Indian workforce is employed in agriculture and contributes only 17 to 18% to India's GDP. But on the other hand, the average income of a farmer is 31.29% less than the per capita income of India. Also, most of them are marginal and half of them are indebted with an average of 1 lakh. According to the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, the suicidal death of farmer during the year 2018 was 5,763 and during 2019 was 5,957 and during last year it was 5,579. Here we are following the conventional system, that is paper currency in exchange of goods. Also digital transactions are used sometimes. Next, the government has launched direct purchase centers, especially for paddy procurement. Next, some supply chain models have also been proposed by innovators. Now let us see the disadvantage of the existing system. The main thing is that a larger proportion of profit reaching the farmer is nowhere seen, as it is mainly gained by the intermediate people like wholesalers, transporters, and retailers. Now, speaking about the direct purchase centers, they aren't available to everyone in every place for every crop. Then the other models which have been proposed by innovators ignore the intermediate process, which can cause severe economic loss to the wholesalers, retailers, and others involved, as they are directly linking only the farmers and consumers. Now let us see a practical example of the existing system. The numbers used here are the most accurate one. 1 quintal of Kalzar Ponni, a popular variety of rice, which is sold for rupees 1,300 by a farmer in Madurai, is sold for rupees 5,200 in a retail shop, which is 275% increase in price. Similarly, if we take another example, 50 kg of tomato, which is sold for rupees 250 in Dharmapuri by a farmer, is sold for rupees 1,000 by a vendor in Chennai, which is 300% increase in price. So here comes a proposed system, which will be dealing with the help of a pictorial representation. Here, initially, the farmer will produce the crop and he will sell to a wholesaler. So the wholesaler will scan the QR code in the digital card of the farmer and also the QR code on each of the packed agricultural goods. So basically, throughout the chain, the seller's QR code gets scanned and the buyer scans the QR code in his mobile application. Then the transporter will shift it from a particular wholesaler to a retailer and then to a vendor. So throughout this process, there will be no immediate cash transfer of any form. So now the goods have reached the vendor. And when he scans the QR code, the gain will be credited to everyone in the supply chain. Here comes an example. Let us see an example. Suppose a consumer buys the good for rupees 1,000 from a vendor. Now the gain gets credited to all the bank accounts. So if the wholesaler must get rupees 200 and the farmer must get rupees 400, and the government can itself be predefined. So also, if the government thinks like they need rupees 100 from it in the form of tax, they can also obtain it well. Here's a special case. In a chain, the transporter carry the goods from one place to another, where the distance covered by them varies. So they cannot be allotted with the same gain percentage. Hence, we calculate the time of the transporter handling the goods with the knowledge of QR code scanning and hence divide the gain. This is our business model. The market size that we employ is total available market, as everyone involved in the chain are considered. Since there is no existing equivalent model, we have no direct or homogeneous competitor. So it requires one-time cost for smart card and also a fixed cost for the manufacture of QR code on produce. Since government is going to be our primary customer and the rest involve a chain of secondary customers, the model can be altered to produce steady source of tax as a revenue. Or if it is a startup, we can employ ad-based revenue stream. So from financial point of view, the number of customers includes everyone involved in the supply chain, and the profit and revenue can be formulated as desired by government. So the strategy here we employ for achieving successful market is advertisement through multimedia, corporate incentives, and post office and ration shops. The technological readiness level of a prototype falls under TR level 7. Here is the unique value proposition. First of all, the government can generate its desired revenues. The model itself accommodates this. Next, the farmer doesn't even need any technological knowledge. That is, he don't even need a smartphone. Then, as we saw, individual gain can be formulated as desired. As the chain is recorded, transparency can be achieved. In this aspect, too, government can save revenue. So next, unlike other models, the intermediate people like wholesalers, retailers are also considered in our model. Thank you.
Thank you, Fatima.
Sorry, just a minute. So let us just display a small demo of a product.
Yeah, sure. Is that all, Tarun?
Yes, sir. It's over.
Now I open the ground for questions. Judges? No questions?
Titania has.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, sure.
I can go with questions. Thank you.
Tatiana, ma'am.
Yeah, I have some questions. Is that application only for like India? Because I see that you had mobile validation only that it should be format of India phone number.
Like we have provisionally, you can say we can adapt it to any country, ma'am. It's scalable. But the thing is that this concept is like highly valid by considering the farmer community of India. So that's the thing, ma'am. We have just started from the problem statement. Of course, if you need to use for any other country, you can use it. Because of course, the model is scalable. We can, as we said earlier, we can just allot the individual gains for any crop. Anything can be done. Any client can handle it. The thing is that we have come from the problem statement. As we saw initially, we had few slides like validating the current status of farm community in India with the farmer decks and many things. So that's the thing, ma'am. But we can use for any country.
Okay, thank you.
About the condition of farmers in India. Yeah.
What technology did you use to develop your application?
Okay, ma'am. So basically, the time was very less, ma'am. We started just now. Now, in the sense, when the hacking hours began, so we sticked to MIT App Inventor for the front end because it's like a simulation thing. It's easy, but we can just extract an APK and we can just even upload in Play Store. Just about the simulation part, like it's easy to do. So we used MIT App Inventor for the front end, and for the back end we used Google Sheets and Google Apps Scripts for the game foundation and things like that. Since
Okay.
it's only a prototype.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Or is that all for the day? Sorry, for the team.
Just a thought. I think honestly, the fact that you've used Google Sheets is actually pretty nice, because at least from a solution that scales, working with platforms that people already access, people are comfortable with. These are models that have worked for startups in the past as well. That being said, if you want to create dashboards around these eventually, you could consider looking at, I mean, if rapid development is the idea, you could look at certain low-code platforms as well, which have been focused heavily on developing such dashboards for tooling, like AppSmith, Bubble, any of those. But yeah, overall, it's interesting that MIT App Inventor and Google Sheets, it's an interesting use case.
Like honestly, we got this idea because only due to the time constraint. That's it. Otherwise, we basically wouldn't have got this idea. We would have just used Flutter and Firebase and things like that. So time was the thing which made us to use this. Also, it became a successful thing.
On a time crunch front, that's actually a creative idea in my opinion. You're using these platforms. I wouldn't expect that in a lot of places, but it is a potential use case of how these platforms can be used. So nice.
I'm a great admirer of you and Mr. Siddharth, sir. I'm following you for a long time.
Any more questions, judges? I don't think so. So thank you, team, and best of luck for the next.
Thank you so much, and thank you, judges, for your time. So may we leave, no? So may we leave?
Yes, Tarun, you can leave.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Now I welcome the fourth team for the day. Team Ocean Atom. Their track is sustainability, and the topic of idea pitch is design and development of integrated floating solar power plant, radio observatory, and floating trash collection system. Team Ocean Atom, are you ready?
Yes, hello. Yes, I'm here, and thanks for your introduction. Hello, everyone. This is Anuma Dubala here, representing Ocean Atom.
Anuma Dubala, I'll be running the clock for 10 minutes, okay? So when you start, just inform me once.
Okay, shall I present now?
Yes, sure. I'm starting the watch.
Okay. So can I able to see my screen? Hello.
Yeah, your
Yes,
screen
we
we can
can.
see.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, greetings one and all. This is a technical presentation of Ocean Atom, a design and development of integrated floating solar power plant, a radio observatory, and a floating trash collection system. Actually, the founder of Ocean Atom is Venkatramana Matapati, a BTech mechanical engineering student from Andhra Pradesh, and myself, Anumadu Bala, a third year mechanical engineering student, a co-founder of Ocean Atom. Actually, what we are gonna to solve the problem. Most of the islands are using fossil fuel for energy consumption. It leads a dangerous air pollution, we all know. As well as nowadays, the marine life is in a hazardous crisis. Most of the plastics and the wastes, the garbages are all dumped into the open water. It is very harm to the marine life. And as well as the constraints in the floating solar power plant, like occupying a larger spaces and acres of floating solars, as well as apart from the inland solar water, so inland floating solar. In a marine also, in marine system also, there's a lot of constraints. So here we are gonna solve these problems by our ocean atom. Our innovation is, yeah, our foremost objective is to reduce these pollutions and generate a sustainable energy to the environment with affordable cost and reduce the area occupation along with a modern enhancement of radio observatory. Yeah. Okay, let's start with an introduction of our ocean atom. As I told, it is an integrated system as well as a multi-purpose system, which consists of a floating solar power plant to produce electricity. It comprises multiple individual units. We call it as a cells, and these cells are arranged in a perfect hexagonal shape. It forms an orbit. And in between the cells and the orbit, it has a flexible connections between them to sustain on the open water, as well as during the daytime, our ocean atom is going to absolutely act as a floating solar power plant to produce electricity. But during the nighttime, it's going to act as a radio observatory to collect the radio signals from the celestial object, and we can easily study about those celestial objects. Additionally, in our plant, we're gonna deploy a floating trash collection system by deploying a collecting agent called Thrasher, which utilizes the computer vision and air tech to seek out into the open water and collect the floating trashes, whatever floating in the open water, and dump into the collecting area of our ocean atom. Here you can see the model of our cell. From the isometric view, you can see the spherical panel. Our novel approach, what we are using here is we are not using the traditional rectangular, the monocrystalline and the polycrystalline something. We are using the thin film PV technologies for our spherical solar panel, and it is fixed on a hexagonic frame. In between that, you can see these. This is a linear actuator. Here, our novelty. We are using the heliotropism method. It will increase, like what's it actually it is. It will track the solar path, which can gimbal with respect to the solar path, which can direct in the panel, which can direct the solar rays, and it will increases the efficiency compared to the other plants. And we have an onboard cooling systems and lightning resistance system, which will enhance the lifespan of the cell as well as the whole plant. And each cells have a floaters. You can see this cylindrical tube, it is a floater, and it is made up of the we can make a floaters by 3D printing by recycling the trashes what we have collected in the marine in the open water. And here, yeah, in the figure 4, you can see the entire plant with an just an semantic diagram by the CAD design it is. Here you can see the each cells are, as I told, each cells are form an orbit in a hexagonal shape, and these cells and the orbit which has flexible connections between them to sustain in the open water. It comprises of 5 layers and 90 cells. If we want to enhance these elements, we can. It will produce a lot of electricity what we have need. And in the figure 5, you can see the central collecting tower for our radio observatory. As I told, during the daytime, it's okay, floating solar power plant, and during the nighttime, it's going to take a radio observatory. And each panels are fixed in a selective tilt to collect the radio signals from the celestial object and try redirect into the receiver, which is fixed in the collecting tower. For the first layer, we fix the receivers in the bottommost of the collecting tower, and for the last layer, we fix the receiver on the topmost of the collecting tower for a clear focal. And this is a pre-model of our thrasher. Here you can see this is a camera. It will utilizes the computer vision technology and air technology to seek out into the open water and collect the thrashers, whatever floating in that. And the energy generation scale. Here we can use multiple cells, which is all only depends upon the customers. Here we can use a 3-meter cells as a prototype. With 3-meter cells, which can produce more than 1 kilowatt without the linear actuation ability. So by using the linear actuation ability, which is the novelty in our ocean atom, we can get within 3-meter cell, we can produce more than 1 kilo power. And this is a scale for energy generation, within a 1 meter cells, with the arrangement of 7-meter cells, we can produce 1 kilowatt, like that with this. And our SWOT analysis. Yeah, the strength of our ocean atom. I told it is a multi-purpose system, and it will generate a high efficient renewable energy compared to the other plants, because we're using these novalities and spherical panels and thin films, which is produced a 40% efficiency compared to the monocrystalline and polycrystalline, as well as it is reducing the carbon footprints in the water bodies. One of the most dangerous, most dangerous one is the pollution in the marine life, which is harnessing all the marine lives in that. So we are reducing the carbon footprints in the water bodies and providing a radio wave data. That is a new innovations in the radio observatory domain. We can enhance our plant by providing a research hub for the students, even as for the local students, where we're gonna plant our ocean atom, as well as the foreign students. And our opportunity, we can deploy it in the versatile locations and provide a lot of opportunities from the various domain, because we need a various curious inquisitive mind for our ocean atom, because it is a multi-purpose system, and we need a various engineer or a scientist or even astrophysicist. So we can provide a lot of opportunity to them. And the weakness, yes, the weakness is the initial setting up cost is the higher for the entire power plant. So the weakness is just one thing. The initial cost of our plant is, we can produce within the 3-meter cells, we can produce 1 kilowatt power. It will around let's say 60,000 for a single cell with all battery systems and all. So this is the weakness, means initial cost is a weakness. And threats. The challenge is in sustaining the plant in a critical conditions. That is because we have the wave fluctuations or also the other turbulence and all. We have to consider that, but we can overcome these challenges by a best mooring systems what we have gonna use in our plant. As a small canvas, our partner, most important one, our key partner supplier for our ocean atom, for the solar panels, we actually partnered with the Solbian, a flexible solar panels, which is a French company. They are the manufacturer which are producing the thin films with a high efficiency of 40% efficiency compared to the other normal traditional solar panels. And for the lipo batteries and all, we have PCB buildings, PCB for the onboard control systems, some of the companies or in Bangalore or some of in Mumbai, we will contact with them. We can get that a perfect battery systems and all for our ocean atom. And our key activities, what are the design and production of a floating solar power plant cell, integrated development to floating solar systems such as radio observatory and floating trash collection system, development of achievement in floating solar energy domain, and educate demonstrated potential customers. So the key resources and all, our cost structure. The manufacturing plant variable production costs is per cell, research and development costs for further improvement of control systems in the cells, as well as the revenue and streams, a direct scale of the individual cells that makes up the entire power plant. And the customer segments, we can separate it. It's an integrated system. I don't know if someone needs only the solar power plant, we can make them to produce, just give a solar power plant only for that. It depends upon the customer need. Apart from the new innovations in the engineering domain, we can separate these ocean atoms to the customer's need. If they want only the floating solar means we can give them. If they want a floating radio observatory means we can give them. If they want only the trashers to collect the wastes in the open water, even not in the marine water, we can deploy it in a little bit on inland water reservoirs to collect the trashers. And from that trashers we can reuse it for the floaters. As I told you, we can 3-print
Is that all?
We
Team,
got disconnected, I guess.
let's just wait for a few minutes for them.
Give me a moment, I'll check with the team.
Yeah, sure. Till the time they arrive, judges, did you like their ideas?
Is any of the team member connected for questions?
No, I think they disconnected.
Okay. I did have a question about the hexagonal ring. They claim the efficiency. I just wanted to know where are the numbers coming from?
They probably did a little R&D over it.
Yeah, I'm just checking with them. Probably there's a power cut at their place.
Because in their previous rounds, they had all big PPTs in which they presented the numbers from all government websites of India.
So is it their own research about the efficiency of hexagonal solar
Yes,
panels?
yes.
Okay.
Shashank, which team are you in?
Team Ecosun.
You're supposed to turn off your camera right now.
Sorry.
No worries. And did you think that any idea stood out from the others in particular?
Until now, I left the one with sanitary pads.
I think all of us can agree with it because it's such a reliable solution for all the women in our houses.
I guess we can take the next team. We can take Shashank, and till the time she connects back, we can get back to the Q&A later with her, if it's cool with the judges. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Team Ecosol, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
So now the sixth team for the day, Team Ecosol. Their track chosen is sustainability, and their topic of idea patch is solar tracking system.
Shall I start my presentation?
Shashank, before you start, all the judges, just a little fact about Shashank. He's like just around 16 or 15 years old, and he's still in class 10th. So I think that's quite an achievement to do something this incredible at this age.
Thank you.
Yes, Shashank, you can start now. I'll be starting a stopwatch. So when you start, just inform me once, okay?
Sure. I'll just share my screen.
Okay.
I'm unable to put on my video during challenge. So can I?
No problem. No problem.
Good day to one and all present here. My name is Shashank Pai Balambhat, and today I'm going to present to you guys my idea of a solar tracking system. So the problem statement is that we use only 3% of the solar energy that falls on us. 89% of all the electricity and energy that we use comes from fossil fuels. Only 11% comes from green sources. According to me, these numbers are very sad considering the technologically advanced times that we live in. So one of the most reliable sources of green energy is solar energy. Yet the solar panels that are used to trap solar energy are extremely costly. Hence, we need to take maximum output from each and every solar panel rather than installing many solar panels at once. Hence the solar tracking system. So the sun moves from east to west every day, but the solar panels that we use are stable. They don't move from east to west. Solar tracking system focuses on moving a solar panel from east to west so that maximum output is achieved. The first prototype that I have worked on is a single axis solar tracker. It uses LDR sensors to move with the direction of sunlight. This is the circuit design that I developed for the single axis solar tracker. I've used a DC motor for the same, and this is the prototype video. The LDRs are placed inside the black straws that are given over here, seen over here, and whichever LDR is lit, the motor moves in that direction. So the next prototype is a dual axis solar tracker. So it is used for moving vehicles such as metro tops or train tops where we can install solar panels. It uses two axes for motion and both work on LDR. This is just a simulation that shows how the dual axis solar tracker works. These two LDRs are lit up, and hence this servo motor moves. And when the other two pairs are lit up, the other servo motor moves to maintain the east-west stability. This is the prototype video. This is the dual axis solar tracker. The LDRs are placed in the holes of the board that I've used, and when a pair of two LDRs are lit up, it moves in that direction. The third and fourth prototype that I've mentioned here, I have merged them into one prototype. So the third prototype is a single axis solar tracker. It uses complete programming. So I modified my first module to make sure that it uses lesser energy for its functioning. And since the sun moves 1 degree every 4 minutes, we can program the motor also in such a way that it moves 1 degree every 4 minutes. This is the principle on which the single axis solar tracker A works on. The dual axis solar tracker A uses complete programming, as in the 4 degrees, 1 degree every 4 minutes, as well as it uses an accelerometer to detect motion. This is the dual axis solar tracker A. The sensor that is in my hand, it is the MPU 6050 accelerometer. It detects motion and it turns it in the opposite direction. The last two prototypes, I was unable to make the product in time, prototypes in time. So the fifth one is the mirror solar tracker. It's pretty self-explanatory. So it uses mirrors to focus light on the solar panel. The sixth one is a cost-effective solar cell. So the reaction of titanium dioxide and nitric acid releases a lot of electrons. And when using carbon to capture those electrons under sunlight helps in capturing sunlight very efficiently compared to the monocrystalline or polycrystalline solar cell. This is, I still have to test a lot for this one. So this is the energy difference between the stable solar panel and the solar tracker. As you can see, by the time of evening, the solar panel that does not move captures zero sunlight, whereas the solar tracker still captures about 65% of the sunlight. Why is this prototype or product needed? So fossil fuels are estimated to run out by 2050, and solar energy will be the mainstream for all energy sources. So solar tracking system will help us achieve these goals, as lesser amount of solar panels can give you more amount of energy. The market potential is that once coal runs out, the coal prices will rise and the coal demand will also rise, but many people won't be able to afford coal and petroleum. Hence, they will turn to green sources of energy such as solar energy or wind energy. And solar energy being one of the most reliable sources of energy, it is a very small industry right now, and tapping into this industry at such a young stage will gain huge returns later. Recently, the Glasgow Pact in the Climate Action Summit 2021, 40 countries, including India, decided that they would reduce the coal usage and focus on green methods of energy. Hence, from now on, government help and government policies for such startups will also be helpful in the development of the product. The target market or the target areas. The first area that I would focus on is desert and barren lands. So these are very key and highly efficient places to implement solar panels. The second one is household implementation. This will be using the double meter system that I'll explain later in the presentation. The third one is dual axis solar tracker, the one that moves on 2 axes, and it is to be uploaded on metro and train facilities. And since roads, most of the time roads are hit with direct sunlight, so I am planning to install solar panels under a layer of ballistic glass, so that most of the time even roads can capture sunlight and help in energy production. This is just a graph that shows how much coal we have used over the years from 1965 to 2020. As you can see, the curve is pretty exponential, and this curve is expected to grow even more exponentially in the next decade until coal eventually runs out. I personally think that this venture is extremely sustainable because we'll always need energy, be it coal, be it petroleum, or be it solar energy. Energy is something that we can't live without, and the solar tracker only helps in increasing the output of the solar panel, and hence it's a very sustainable venture in the long run. Now coming to the double meter system, so the double meter policy works as follows. If you implement a solar panel in your household, the net amount of electricity that you take from the grid, only that is the only amount that you will be billed for. If you give more electricity than you take, then the electricity agencies will pay you for the electricity that you produce. Hence, based on this scheme, I have ideated a special scheme for rural areas and poor places where they can't afford to invest a huge amount in solar tracking systems. So they would pay me 5/7 of their electricity bill. So for a family of 4, the electricity bill comes to rupees 700 to 800. So they would pay me rupees.
Shashank, you just have a minute remaining, so try to wrap it up in just a minute, okay?
Sure. So out of this 500 to 600, only 200 to 250 will be used for the energy production. So the entire cost will be taken care by 2 years, and out of the 5 to 7 years, the next 3 to 5 years will be complete profits. This is just a production process that I have basically ideated. It's very basic right now. I have analyzed various advertisement platforms where I plan to advertise the products. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Shashank. And judges, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have one. Thank you for your presentation. My question is about the business side of your idea, because actually the solar panels is quite developed field already. So, and there are already solutions with rotation and with robots implementation. So I just would like to ask you, how you gonna compete with the companies which is already pretty solid on the market? And what is like, how do you, for example, I am a customer who is choosing between 10 different companies. So how you gonna convince me that I have to go with your solution? Thank you.
Yes, so first of all, as a customer, you would be looking at the costs for each and every solar tracking module. So the cost-effective solar cell, I plan to implement that to reduce the entire cost of the module. Moreover, I think the EMI scheme or the monthly electricity bill scheme is something that not all companies offer, and hence I would implement that too. And moreover, I have researched on Canadian Solar and various other companies that actually sell solar tracking systems right now. And
Shashank, just a minute. Upuliyappan, please mute yourself. Continue, please.
And the Canadian Solar, especially their entire energy increase between a stable solar panel and a solar tracking system is 15 to 20%. My prototype guarantees about 30 to 35, and while coming to the final product with all the environmental factors that will take place, I think it will still be around 20 to 35% in energy increase. So I think this will also be a major factor that would contribute to the unique selling point.
Okay, and for your opinion, what's going to be your target market?
Sir, currently I'm planning to start in India, and I'm planning to start with government ventures, because when you implement in desert areas, it takes a lot of investment, and planning with a government agency that is already implementing will be much faster. And once the profits are accumulated from the desert areas, then I would plan for household implementation.
Okay, thank you for your answers.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Shashank. First of all, really great to see that you are doing all this at such a young age. It's really innovative. Now, as per what I have read and heard about solar tracking systems, there are, as even Max said, there are already existing solutions. And the problem with these solutions as of now are they have more of maintenance cost. So the thing that you did already exist. You did it, you innovated it by yourself. That's a great point. But when it comes to business, you'll have to deal with the current problems with the solution, right? With the product. So it's with the maintenance cost. So have you researched about that, or do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, sir. So I have not calculated the maintenance costs yet, but as to how to clean the solar panel in a huge, say, a solar farm, there are vertical modules that you can place on each and every solar panel, and they would just move through the solar panel and clean each and every solar panel.
That also exists with the static solar panels. So that's not what I meant by the maintenance cost. It's more related with the rotators.
Yes, the motors, right?
Yeah.
So for the motors, first of all, I would not leave the motors open as I showed in the prototypes. So I would research on materials that would be either dust proof or very minimal dust, and I would cover the motors in such material. Moreover, even after covering, I think at least for once a month you would have to clean the motors. So yeah, I plan to increase the time period of cleaning the motors, but I think it is still necessary.
All right. I'll suggest you to probably research more on the existing solutions where they have been implemented and what were the major problem with it, and try to focus on solving those problems that can make you stand out with the rest of the solutions in the market.
Sure.
Thank you. Great project.
Thank you so much.
Any more doubts or questions? I think not. So Shashank, you can leave. And thank you for the presentation and best of luck.
Thank you.
Judges, as all of us saw that Anu Madhubala was interrupted due to a poor network issue, I think. She is here again with us to continue with her presentation. So Anu Madhubala, you can continue again.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and sorry for the inconvenience.
Do you want to start from the beginning or from where you left?
So where we left, I'll start from that, so not from the beginning.
Okay.
Can you able to see my screen?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, actually, I left from the business model canvas. Yeah. As I told, our key partners and also the Solvay and flexible solar panels, they produce a high efficiency of 20% or 20% efficiency solar panels, the thin film solar panels. That's the thing we are gonna implement our Ocean Atom. And the cost structure, as I told, the initial cost of our Ocean Atom is just a little bit high. Apart from that, by integrating the radio observatory and translation systems, so apart from that, implementing the radio observatory in inland, it will cost around 1 million. That's the minimum cost is 1 million. But integrating here, it will reduce the cost of the implementation of radio observatory, as well as the trash collection systems. It's another boost for our radio observatory for our Ocean Atoms. So by that, okay, without considering the initial cost, we can profit a lot of much apart from the compared to the initial cost. And yeah, by that we can produce a lot of opportunity, as I told you, in an opportunity in a SWOT analysis. So like that, our technology, it is an like, what can I say? It's a new innovations, and it will produce a lot of open window to a lot of domain people. So we can increase that educational rate by providing opportunity to the students, as well as the radio observatory it can be a research hub for the local students as well as the foreign students. And yeah, these are the areas where the floating solar power plant, not only floating solar, marine floating solar, inland floating solars, or else the Japan floating solars are happening in the area in the Eastern Asian countries. They are mainly concentrating on the solar power plants to produce electricity compared to the other traditional things for generating the renewable energy. And sustainability in scalability, rather than burning a costly polluting diesels for generate electricity, our system will provide a clean and sustainable power, and we can transfer these power by the underground water cables, and we can able to plan the on-grid and the off-grid systems. The most critical one is what currently the other solar floating power plants are facing it, the battery management. Here the on-grid off-grid systems by storing the energy and redirecting to the nearby settlements and all. It's just okay, yeah, a problem in other floating solar power plants. Here we are achieving it by the on-grid off-grid system, and we have onboard cooling systems. It will enhance the efficiency of the individual cells, and as well as our each panels are insulated and kept safe from the moisture content, as well as we can use a wiper technology to clean the panels daily, because during the daytime our plant is going it's just enough floating solar, but during the night time we're gonna use the cells. Each cell is gonna act as an aperture, So for the aperture, we just use a Viper technology by introducing the carbon spherical panel to redirect the radio signals efficiently to the receivers. And compared to the other plants, we have a lightning protection systems and using corrosion resistant materials for each cells will increase the lifespan of cells as well as the plant. And the most important one, we are giving the best mooring system for the anchoring process. And this is the entire schematic of ocean atom. Here this is our whole plant as I showed in the previous slide, and this inner ring is a boundary for this plant, and each is weeds in the cells have a flexible connection between them to sustain. And additionally, this is a boundary for that. It has a flexible it has a rigid anchoring system to sustain our plant. And this is outer circles with six turbines. It also produces a little artificial flow to make sure the thrashers to getting into the collection area. This is in between the inner ring and the outer ring. This is a collection area of our thrashers, the wasters. We can dump the garbages into this collection area and we can reuse it. And this is turbine. It will be the electric hub, electricity resource for our thrashers, which is secondary to the open water. It can work 24/7. And this ocean atom will be a new revolution in the green energy and generation technology, because with this novel idea by implementing the actuation ability with respect to the solar directions, and with a radio observatory with a trash collection system which clean the marine life, it will be a new boom for in the renewable energy domain. And this is a new window for more way to clean our ocean from the pollutions what we have created, and it will protect our marine life. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Thanks for the presentation, Anu Madhubala. Judges, any questions?
I have
Max,
a question.
yeah, Max.
Can you please tell what is the cost of the solution, because it seems like very expensive one. So
Yes,
who is going to be the customers, because you were mentioning about the customers. So it's supposed to be governments or private companies. So can you mention about that, please?
Before
Yeah,
starting
sure.
the answer, Anu Madhubala, can you please stop sharing your screen now?
Oh, sure. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, for the prototype is under progress. For the a single cell prototype, it is cost around 60,000, and implementing our plant is quite costly. We are planning to tie up with the Indian government, because by 2030, our Indian government gonna make a 200 gigawatts from power from a renewable energy source. So by if tie up with these governments, we can easily propose our new innovations in solar energy generation. And actually, mainly we are focusing on the islands. Currently, most of the islands are changing into the floating solar technology. Like an African island, they are expecting this kind of technology for to produce electricity, because most of the islands are using the fossil fuel for energy generation. If we give a approach to these government, we can easily get a chance to implant our ideas.
Okay, and you are going to be responsible as well for maintenance of that systems, because it's also quite heavy task then in the future, right?
Yes, yeah. But if implant means, it will be the new innovation and a boom in an energy generation.
Okay, thank you for the answers.
Thank you.
Any more questions, judges?
Seems like I have a poor internet. Can you hear me?
Yes, Vedant sir, we can.
Okay, so the question is, you talked about the efficiency of
Vedant sir, you are lagging a
the
bit now.
pattern that is in our own research. Let's.
So you can type it out. I'll read it out. You can just type it in the chat. Okay, sir. Yeah, Anumadubala, are you there? Anumadubala. I request the host to please remove Anumadubala from the meeting as she is not responding anymore. And I thank Anumadubala again for her presentation and best of luck, Anumadubala, if you can still hear me. And now the seventh team for the day, Diodes. Their track chosen is community, and their topic of idea pitch is geo-offense.
Yeah, hello sir, hello madam, hello judges. Can I share my screen?
Yes, Vignesh, you can. And I'll be starting my stopwatch. So just inform me once you're ready, okay?
Yeah, sure.
You've got 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Good evening all. This is Ramya here from Team Diodes to represent a project geofence. A project geofence falls under the discipline community. So we have come up with a project called geofence. It is a real-time safety system for Indian fishermen to avoid trespassing the India-Sri Lanka maritime boundary. This is met by tracking the location of Indian boats on sea. So talking about the problem statement, frequent arrests of Indian fishermen and seizure of their fishing vessel by the Sri Lankan authority in the maritime boundary are often witnessed. The problem has been festering with political ramifications for a number of years. Indian fishermen venture into the sea domain of the Sri Lankan counterparts for better fishing ground. This ruins international peace between the two countries. So here are two evidences of a problem statement. First one is from MPIDSA, an organization for defense in India. This clearly tells the need for an Indian fisherman which prompts him to trespass the boundary line. So it's basically for obtaining a large gain. The second statement is by the External Affairs Minister in the Indian Parliament. This shows the devastating numbers related to a problem statement. Thus, it's evident that there must be a solution for the serious problem. So speaking of our existing system, the existing models for fishermen rescue have used a GPS module to get the location of their potential fishing zones. GSM module is deployed to communicate with coastal guards and with their family members. If the boat trespass, some models have a rescue plan fed into app. All the existing models were confined to use Arduino boats. The government has erected about 17 exclusive communication towers along its coastline to communicate with fisheries, which is too expensive and also unreliable. So speaking of the disadvantages of the existing system, all the existing models primarily depends on mobile network for their operation. In marine region of poor connectivity, the existing system fails completely. In such cases, the GSM and the GPS model both stops working. The previously specified models in this aspect becomes less reliable and unfit to use on practical cases. 808951 microcontroller used in the existing models doesn't have any inbuilt ADC and EEPROM, limiting its usage. So a proposed system. In geofence, we are aiming to achieve reliability by proposing two different methods. The first one uses a GPS module to fetch the location of the boat. A predefined set of GPS coordinates that forms the India-Sri Lanka border line is collected. In a set of circumstances where connectivity is down and out, the last read GPS data is estimated. The current location of the boat can be computed using Haversine formula with distance and bearing angle of the boat. An outsourced Tinkercad simulation module is used for speed and bearing calculation as well. The location of the boat is compared with the boundary line, and if found trespassing, the DC motor of the boat is turned off. A time delay of few seconds is given for the trespassed boat to reach Indian waters as well. The hardware architecture of the model includes a Neo 6M GPS module for tracking the location of the boat. ESP8266 board is availed as controller. A dual switch relay integrated with a DC motor is interfaced with the output end. If GPS is not available, vehicle speed sensor and rotary angle sensor are also interfaced with ESP8266 to compute speed and bearing angle of the boat. So here we have two different approaches for finding the coordinates, hence making the model reliable. The software operation of the model involves checking whether the GPS data is available. If so, the valid GPS coordinates are converted to decimal format. The coordinates are compared with the straight lines in the borderline, and if the condition satisfies, the relay is switched off. In case of GPS failure, last trade data is taken as latitude 1 and longitude 1. The RPM and bearing angle of the motor is measured. The distance traveled by the boat is estimated with RPM. The current location is then computed using Haversine formula. So this is the rearranged Haversine formula, which is used to calculate the current location of the boat when the GPS is not available. To find the distance and bearing, we have used vehicle speed sensor, which is later converted into distance, and then angle sensor. Speaking of significance, the consistency of working is properly tested and ensured. This means that the model is highly reliable. A mathematical module is formulated to tackle network erraticity. The model is made with less complexity and cost-efficient components, making it easily affordable. A heartfelt thanks to all for listening patiently. Would like to present a short demo video of our implementation, which we have made.
Let me present the demo video, sir.
अबे एंट्री दे दी उन्होंने मुझे।
हम भी आए।
आ जा।
Jyoth, please mute yourself.
Thank you, sir. I think we stick down to the time. So
Yeah,
that's all
you
for our
stick with
first
time.
speech.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
So are you guys finished?
Yeah.
So now I open the stage for doubts, and I can see that Aditya sir has one. So sir, you can ask your question.
Thank you. Hey, all right. So with the solution, it's interesting that you've planned this, and I'm actually glad to see the solution without access to internet, because I've seen similar solutions in the past which heavily depend on GPS modules and internet and using stuff like Google Maps APIs, which I don't think is practical out there. I still have one thing. I think as a solution, while of course this has been personalized for the Indo-Sri Lanka seaways, it is a solution that can extend to a lot of other use cases, whether we're talking other seaways around the world, whether we're talking in scenarios where, even with private property, to be honest. So do you have any idea by which you can extend this beyond the current, just this specific use case for this sort of technology?
Yeah, so for sure we can do that by simply changing the GPS coordinates that determines the whole localization. So by changing the GPS coordinates alone, we can make that happen, sir.
But that being said, is there any way easier to input that information aside from just our Arduino code here? Because like the thing is that, it's one thing when we as programmers work on it, it's another when someone purchases a device and wants to extend that capability, and not everyone may potentially be as have access to technology that can even do that. Like chances are folks who are leveraging this platform, a lot of them may not. So on that front, have you maybe thought of anything that could make selecting those coordinate ranges maybe a little easier?
Haven't thought of that. Still, we are in that. We are in the first stage. Now only we have developed the product fully. So we'll be thinking on that since. Thank you for the suggestion.
I think like just an idea, like a point to that front. I am, but before I kind of jump into this, I want to mention I'm not a major expert on IoT by any means. But that being said, do you think you could consider ways of communication with a mobile interface without internet? Because I think that should be achievable, I guess.
Yes, sir.
And like that might make it possible at least.
We don't use any mobile interface here, sir.
A potential idea for the future is what I meant.
Yes, sir. But currently we have not planned to use any backend as well. We solely depend on hardware implementation here, sir.
Right, yeah. Just I think having that on hardware is all right. Maybe just a mobile interface to connect with a specific piece of hardware on the basis of maybe proximity. I'm not sure if a Bluetooth sensor can help you, but something that can communicate. Again, as I mentioned, I'm not an IoT expert, but if you could explore solutions on that front, which would allow you to communicate with a device near you without accessing the internet. I think there are solutions available on that front. I will say I haven't explored enough personally.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. The ESP8266 is a Wi-Fi boot, sir. So
okay.
we can make it dump, sir.
Okay, yeah.
We also have a Bluetooth module which can also be connected to it.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I think that's probably what I was looking for. All right, cool.
Any more questions? I think no more. So team, you can leave. And thanks for the presentation and best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
The next theme which we have are EcoPlan. The tracks which this shows are sustainability, and their topic of idea pitch is smart garbage collection and tracking. Team EcoPlan, are you there? Ekjot, you can open your mic now.
Am I audible now?
Yes, Ekjot, you are.
All right, just a second. I'll
And
start the
whenever you
presentation.
start, just inform me so I can start the timer for 10
All right.
minutes.
All right. So just the presentation is visible, I hope.
Yes, it is.
All right. So I'm starting right now. Okay.
Yes, sure.
All right. Good evening, judges. We are Team EcoPlan, and we have taken up the track of sustainability. This is our problem statement. Garbage collection and tracking its origin in India is a big problem. Out of the 41 million tons of trash collected, only 30% is segregated. The rest is dumped into landfills. But we have a plan. Using NFC and blockchain technology, we have come up with a simple yet elegant solution. Trash bags with NFC tags on them. The NFC tag contains three things: the hashed private information of the user, the type of the waste, which is if it's biodegradable or non-biodegradable, and the area code, as in where it is come from. This data can be used to pinpoint the origin of the waste and also identify the people responsible for it. So now the process of collecting the garbage. So the entire dustbin is put into the garbage truck. And as you can see on the diagram, there are two NFC scanners on the truck which scan the code. And it also contains a weight plate, the blue thing, which weighs the amount, determines the amount of trash relative to the whole thing, like how much the dustbin weighs. And the weight and the data from the NFC tag are combined and they are stored locally on the truck using an onboard computer. Once the collection for the day is over, this is the onboard computer. Once the collection for the day is over, the trucks are parked into the collection center, and all the computers on board upload the data to the blockchain. And a monthly quota can be set up for every household to control the amount of waste. So the quota can be split up between the biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste. So how much kilos they can potentially give out to the government or to other processing fields. Since the data is for the end user, we have come up with an application. It shows the current utilization of the assigned quota, like 30% here, and the split for the bio and non-bio waste. And it also shows the bi-weekly analysis. So how much the person has, how much weight the person has given out, weight of trash he or she has given out in the week. And other than that, here is the implementation for the application. Since the data is stored on the blockchain, it is readily available to the public. So we are using the Ethereum blockchain, and using a smart contract, we are doing this. We'll get to that in a few seconds. And we are also planning on building a smaller public database using the collected data from the blockchain. And this database will only include the area code and the amount of collected waste. And this database will be accessed through an API. And what we'll do with this API is the front user will be served a map. So something like this, a contour map of the entire carbon footprint or the amount of trash each state or each city has contributed over time. And they'll be able to analyze like what corporation is doing good work. And this will also be helpful in gauging how effective they are with their trash. And since it's public, so it'll be visible to everybody. And fines can also be implemented for wrong segregation of garbage. Since it is public, so government will be able to determine. With that, I would like to end my pitch, and I would also like to show a couple of demos that we've prepared. Just give me a second. This is the website that we are planning to build. Just a second. Yeah. So the landing page, and this is the dashboard. Wait, just a second. Yeah, this is the map I was talking about. It isn't complete yet, but what it'll show you is where you're located and the carbon footprint in your area and how much everybody is generating. And the next is a dashboard similar to the phone app. So it shows the split. It shows the weekly usage, the bi-weekly usage, and the amount you have recycled for the whole month. Other than that, that's the contact information, and this is the landing page for downloading our app. And the last thing that I want to show you is the Ethereum smart contract. So this smart contract is pretty basic. What it does is it takes in the Aadhaar number, which will be hashed out. Of course, we won't be passing it through a normal any API or something. So this will be hashed. Only the weight, the waste type, and this pin will also be hashed. This pin will be like a key for the database, and this will also be hashed. So all of these are passed into the smart contract, and we push on transact, and it's pushed to the blockchain. And the get user info gets the user info for whatever the application is. So with that, I'll end my pitch. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. Thank you.
Thank you, Yogijot. Jatish, do you have any questions? Max, Vedant, Aditya,
I have one. You said that there is gonna be some tag on the garbage and bag, so it means that anybody can read it, right? So if it will hold information about the user, so it means that anybody who wants to collect some information of specific person can read that tag and get some info. Is it right?
Yeah, we thought about that. So that's why we've hashed most of the private sensitive information.
Any more questions?
So that will be confidential totally. There will be no leak in that, and that will be perfect. That we will surely make this process confidential, that no one can access that. Only the person who has the tag or who has access the right to it can only access that. No other person can access.
Moreover, only the data that is like the amount of weight that he has
only the
produced,
weight and the type of
weight and the type of the weight he's segregating, that biodegradable and the non-biodegradable. That will be just shared. The rest all is confidential.
Okay, another question. I saw that you created a dashboard with trash was the trash was given. So how actually, as an end user, I'm just wondering, how can I use this information? Like, I mean, okay, I know that I have like 5 kg of trash per month. I'm just have doubts, like, where can I apply that information?
That will be generally like you'll be able to see like how much you'll be able to analyze the trend, that if you're producing more trash
over the time, you can see the in future, like you'll be able to analyze like how much produce I myself is producing. Like for example, you are producing 5 kg of the waste. So for example, you are producing 2 kg of biodegradable and 3 kg of non-biodegradable, right? So you'll be knowing that I have to produce least amount of non-biodegradable, and in this way you'll be analyzing yourself on that basis.
And we are also thinking of incentivizing this, like since there are fines, so the government or whatever concerned authorities will be able to access it, and they'll be able to see like whatever the amount, who's producing most of the stuff.
And at the end, we'll be like able to analyze. The government will also be able to analyze that in which locality, how much amount of and what type of waste is generated, so that they can also create an awareness in that locality on all that to produce less amount of non-biodegradable waste and all that. So in future, overall, it will be kind of helpful.
Yeah, and other than that, it can also be used for research purposes, or in which area that the product is getting affected, or in which area people don't know how to put the waste through biodegradable or non-biodegradable, because there are many dustbins and people still don't know the values of each color. So in this way, if we start from a simple society, then it can extend to a large scale, because if we start from one drop, then it makes an ocean. So in that way, this will result in great effectiveness of a whole society, and we will able to judge that which area is not able to do the right thing.
Okay, thank you for the answers.
I actually have a couple of follow-ons there. You mentioned that any personal information will be encrypted, right? You're storing only hashes.
Yeah, the government thing that we'll have to figure out.
Yeah, that was my point.
Yeah,
How
that
exactly
will
are you
have to-
sharing PII if
Yeah, we can't share that exactly as of now, but we're still figuring out what sort of methods we'll use, since we also referred like the area. So we'll have the area map. So I mean, the authorities can sort of figure out ki, this area has a lot of garbage or trash that is being accumulated over time.
that brings me to a second point. Are we really encouraging a solution like this by creating a sense of fear?
In most
Because
societies,
I don't believe this way would encourage any like a positive growth. We're not seeing positive gamification. We're creating a fear state where mess up and you will be punished.
yeah.
In my experience, that does tend to see a lot of problems because it lacks encouragement. It's you're punishing essentially. So
the punishment part's like optional here, like because the fine we haven't yet said, right? Ki
Our,
you
our
can
motive of
implement a
just
fine.
keeping a fine was that like there should be a discipline among us. So
Yeah.
without any like kind of punishment, we can say we are not kind of disciplined, because at the end we have to look at the bigger side to just segregate all the waste.
Yeah, and
That-
you
that
know,
was
it's
our point
like
to create
the
the
whole
fine.
concept of a blockchain is like the more amount of people that follow, the more people will look up to it.
And
ki,
it's just
haan,
an
this-
extra thing that we added that is not just like necessary. Our main focus was on to just keep the
Segregate.
waste management, like segregation and all.
Yeah, and make it more public so that people are actually aware of what they're doing to the environment as well.
It will be more kind of open source rather than making it a specific case.
Right. Is that also? Thank you, team, and best of luck.
All right, thank you.
The next team for today is Covis. Their track chosen is Open Innovation, and the topic of idea pitch is Intra-Organization Management Ecosystem Service. They'll be joining us in a few minutes. Till then, can I ask that there's a few questions for myself? How are you guys feeling here? Maxim sir, Tatiana ma'am, Aditya sir?
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Are you liking the ideas that are coming up here today? We've seen some interesting ideas there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the future is bright with such ideas.
Honestly, as a hacker myself, I definitely appreciate seeing a lot of these problems being brought up, because it's really amazing to see how we can see potential large-scale solutions or ideas that can grow into actual solutions in the real world in such a short amount of time. It's yeah, so that's always nice to see.
Yes, so that's quite encouraging. And I think we have the team here. Daria, are you from Team Covis?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can start, and whenever you start, just ping me once, because you have a timer for 10 minutes, and I'll start as soon you tell me to, okay?
Okay, just a second. So I'm starting. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so before starting, I would like all the judges and all the audience here to see just a small introduction video. Okay. So our idea is to build an intra-organization service management ecosystem. As of now, if we see in India, there are many medium and small level organizations, colleges, universities, shopping malls, and schools. And in these schools, they offer provide various services within themselves. Like, for example, there are various colleges that have food outlets, they have some dry cleaning for the hostelers, and many more services. And usually to maintain these, most of the colleges are using the card-based system. When I say about card-based system, I means that they issue a PVC or plastic card, add money to it, and after adding money to it, we have to make transactions at the outlets. And this thing is very uneconomical. If we see, like, we have to maintain the cost of the cards, the machine, and the entire ecosystem, and this thing is very unsustainable. So in order to overcome this thing, we have digitalized the complete thing, and it's very economical and sustainable for everyone. So let me show you a demo. Right. So our app name is Covis. We have built a complete website and a complete app with complete backend integration and production ready and secure. So our app name is Covis. Covis stands for compensate with services. It means the money that you pay is compensated with services within your organization. Many organizations can register on this, and it is a software as a service program. Okay, so let's follow along. Yeah. So like, I have registered 3 organizations here already, but for giving a quick demo, I am registering one more organization. Okay, so first of all, we have to sign in with Google, any organization, Google OAuth. I have used Firebase authentication here. Okay, so I'm logging with my college email ID, or we can do with anyone. Right. So now it's telling me to register my organization, as I haven't done yet. So for example, I write the name of any university as an organization. For example, I write NIT Jalandhar. Address, for now I'm writing any mock address. Okay, contact number 12345678990, and image URL. Yeah, most important part, right aside the NIT, and any pick up any image of there. Okay, so this is the image, right? Just a sec. I think no. It's showing. Take me the link. Yeah, just a second. Yeah, I got the image URL here. Okay, so I copy it and paste it in my application, then for the image URL, and I write any, for example, description, and I click on register. As now you can see that organization has been registered. Now let's have a look at our application, and we can see the organization registered there. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen for my mobile for the same. Just a sec. Okay, I have to unshare. Okay, I would use some tools for this. Right. It's as a Zoom is allowing you to share only one screen. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I am validating the session key and just connecting it. Sorry for the inconvenience caused, if any. Okay. Yeah. So let me show you the application of the Covis. Here it is. And it's for the customers like who are willing to avail the services within an organization. Like, now I click on continue with Google. It's also the Firebase authentication that I have enabled due to the lack of time. I think it's hanged. And can I share 2 screens on Zoom if it's possible?
I'm not sure about it, but you can try.
Yeah, actually I'm okay. I think I should unshare this one. This thing is making any problem.
You can try it once.
Yeah. I'm joining the meet. Please let me in from the mobile. This was a technical glitch that I didn't expect.
Show the error.
Just a sec. I'm doing it in the process only. Yeah, got the link. Yeah, please let me in. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. What happened there?
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, you have let me in. Now I'm sharing my screen from the mobile.
You are on mute there, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what thing has happened. Actually, there is some technical glitch. I think I am trying to resolve it, but and I think mobile is not able to be connected. I am sharing my screen in the mobile and
There, be patient. There is no need to worry. We'll give you some extra time. Just do it properly once, okay?
yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yes, there it is visible.
Okay, is my application visible?
Your application, have you opened it yet?
Yeah, I have.
No, it isn't. It's still your home screen.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What's happening, and I'm not able to understand.
If you have screenshots, you can show the judges.
Yeah, that you can do.
Yeah. Okay, I will try. Just a sec. I would take it. Okay, I think the emulator has started responding. I'm sharing the screen only. The issue has been resolved. Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes, there it is.
I'm really sorry for the inconvenience caused. Okay, so
No
I'm
worries there.
yeah. So I'm showing the application. Okay, yeah. It's COVIS. It stands for compensate with services. Like for now, yeah, I'm continuing with Google. For a security purpose, it wouldn't show it to you. And I'm logged in again. See, I have made NIT Jalandhar as an input here, and NIT Jalandhar is showing here on the real-time basis. It's fetching. Like now I click on NIT Jalandhar. Now I have registered one service in advance, that is a pool game, right? Like there is a pool game that has been already been created by me. Okay, so let me place an order from the app for 1 hour of pool game that is offered by NIT Jalandhar within their campus. Okay, so I just want for 2 hours. Okay, so I wanted 2 hours. now I would make a payment with the Google Pay of ₹100 for that. And after I made the payment, the order would be visible on the screen. For the payment purposes, it's showing the black. It's because of the Google Pay security that do not allow screen share. Yeah, the payment has been made, and you can see a secret pin has been given to me, that is 2549, that is randomly generated by the UUID API. And this pin the consumer has to give to the organization outlet in charge for entering in order to get his order authenticated. Okay, so see, this is my order that has been created, and I enter the OTP like 2549. Okay, so the order has been confirmed. Like, see, the order has been confirmed that it's for the correct OTP. We can add more things to the menu. Like, for example, I can add XYZ anything, and we can add the price, 50 rupees, and any sample image URL, and add it. See, it has been added, and it should be added in the application also. Like, I have not provided any image here. The clipboard data is being accessed. That's why it's not showing. Like, I have made other organizations also, and for anything, and we can make place orders through them also. And it's just a simple approach to replace the traditional card-based systems that is very uneconomical. And we have a Q&A section also. Like, if users do not panic, in that case, the money gets deducted. That's all. I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Dhairya. Judges, any questions? Max sir, Tatiana ma'am, Aditya sir? No question at all? I guess so. Thank you, Dhairya, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Now, the next team which we have is data coders. Their track chosen is sustainability, and the topic of idea patch is Rebuild Hub. Team?
Yeah, we have. So I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, Akshay, before you start, just ping me once because your timer is for 10 minutes and I need to start it, okay?
Yeah, so is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is. You can go ahead. So we are starting.
Yes. So good evening to all the judges and the other participants here. So we are team data coders, and our project name is Rebuild Hub, and our theme is sustainability. I'm Satyajit, and my team members are Akshit and Asif. Okay, go ahead. Next. Yes. So our problem statement is a web app that will bridge the gap between waste donors and waste collectors, and will have a huge positive impact on collection of recyclable waste. So globally, a lot of companies are now shifting to using recycled materials in order to manufacture new products, because that is the way to go. And so what our web app is going to do basically is going to promote that. Now, these companies, for example, say Bata, they make use of recycled plastic in order to manufacture new shoes. Even Apple makes use of recycled materials in order to manufacture their new products. But these big companies have to rely on middle agencies who sell recyclable waste to these big companies. And in order to sell this recyclable waste, I mean the process waste, they charge a huge commission. So instead, we came up with a plan that why not promote recycling in every household, in every society, in every, say, an NGO or a school. So what our platform is going to do is that we have two types of users. One is the waste donor and waste collector. And so the waste donor can be an individual, an organization, an NGO, a school, anything. And a waste collector is a company, probably even a waste processing company, or maybe if a company requires just recyclable waste and they have their own processing that they do in order to recycle. For example, say a big electronic company, say Apple, they already have a waste processing unit inside their own infrastructure. So they can be the waste collectors. So through our platform, what happens is that a company which logs into our platform, the admin of that company, they can request, say, for example, if they want 1,000 kgs of newspaper. And so they can put in that request, and that request is visible to all the users which are registered on that platform. Now, when I, as a user, register on that particular platform, I can see all the companies and the waste that they require. Now, me as a user, I can say, if I have, say, for example, 5 kgs of newspaper at my house, which I want to donate, I can claim that I have 5 kgs of paper. And then I put in the information. All of this will be visible when we show you the implementation of our software. And in return, what I will get is there's a fixed price per kg or per pound of waste, which the company will decide to pay these users. So in India, especially, people come up to do something in a mass way only when they get an incentive for it. So the incentive that people will be getting for donating waste is that the company, or through our Rebuild Hub, will be getting a particular amount of money for donating the waste, which is in turn recyclable. Now, such an idea does exist. There are platforms which are doing similar things, but the problem is that, so the uniqueness. So they only focus on particular kinds of waste. So there's a platform which only takes in a paper waste or electronics waste. But here we are going to be open to all kinds of waste which can be recycled. Now, the infrastructure that we have in place for now is the scope of our project is only restricted to Pune. So we have 3 pickup locations, which are the addresses of the 3 of us. So once a user claims to have waste, they have to book an appointment and say that at this particular time, they will be coming in and dropping the waste. Now, once the waste is collected, of the appropriate amount of waste is collected, we will be providing it to our clients, which are in turn the waste collectors. So this is about the uniqueness of our project, and then we'll move on to the technology, and I'll hand it over to Akshit. Yeah.
So basically, now let's move on to the tech stack that we are using. So for all the designing work, we have used Figma softwares. Then we have used MERN stack, that is MongoDB, Express.js, React, and Node.js for all the website development purpose. Then for the notification purpose, we are using the Firebase Cloud Functions. That's a Firebase Cloud Storage and Firebase Platform by Google. Then for all the hosting purposes, we will be using the AWS. For the payment, that is between the companies and the people, normal users like me and you, we are using the multiple payment APIs. Then for getting the location of the households, which are the pinpoint sources of the waste, we are using the location APIs. That can be Google Maps API or any other Maps API. Then recommendations. So this is not we haven't implemented yet, the recommendation system, but that's in our future scope. So let's say a household is donating the plastic waste every month. So that means that household is a source of plastic waste, and it's certain that that household is producing the plastic waste every month. So what we can do is we can recommend him the companies that want the plastic waste, and then it's very much certain that that household will donate the plastic waste. So this is how we are using the recommendation systems. We have the algorithm ready that we will be using the cosine similarity, but we haven't implemented in this 36-hour hackathon. Now let's move on to the user journey. So basically, as Satyajit has told,
Akshit, I think we can move on to the implementation. Vedant can show the user journey.
Okay, so we can show this user journey.
Yeah, so Asif will show the.
Yeah, so this is all. These are all the initial designs. We have already made the website so that we can show directly in the website. Now, what impact we are going to create through our project? What impact can create our website? So increase in the recyclable waste collection, which is extremely helpful for a cleaner and better environment. So as Satyajit has told that that there are some companies like Apple, Bata, which is a shoe making company, then Adidas, which is also a sports accessories making company. They are already using the recyclable waste to create their own products. So that also helps in cleaning the environment. Then availability of recyclable waste for companies at lower rate, because now they don't have to get in contact with the middle agencies. So elimination of the middle agencies is the next point. Now, few sources of waste collection transforming into millions of point sources. So now what's happening is Apple, Bata, and Adidas, all these companies are dependent on some middle agencies. But when we will launch our platform, all the households will become point sources for our waste. So converting one middle agency into multiple million point sources. Now, money-making opportunity for people through waste donation. As in India, most of the people want something in return if they're doing something. So that's why money-making opportunities now, because companies will not pay to middle agencies from any commission. Companies can directly pay to the households. So change in the mindset of people, sense of belonging and responsibility towards the environment will be developed.
Akshit, we can move on to the implementation. Asif, can you please show the implementation?
Sure.
We might be running out of time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just share my screen.
Okay.
Can you grant me the share access? I'm not able to share my screen. Okay. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, Asif, it's visible. Come.
Okay, so this is the landing page. We have a login page and we do have a registration page. For now, we will just use our login credentials that we have created already. So for first of all, I will log into the user module. We have used JWT for the authentication purpose. So this is our dashboard for the user. We first of all, we have the individual donations. So here we will be getting the statistics for individual donations for newspapers, books, steel, plastic bags and all. And we have a donate button for a particular waste. So in case I want to donate some amount of newspaper, so what I will do is I will just click on donate. I will enter the amount. Let's say I want to donate 10 kgs, and then I will have to select the company. For now, we just have HCL who is like accepting the donations for newspaper because they are the only ones which are in need of newspapers. So I will click on HCL. I will select. Here we will be adding the pickup address and all, the date, the time slot, and then I will click on donate. Okay, so we can see that my request is successful. Okay, so initially it was 50 kgs. Right now it is 60 kgs. It's showing 60 kgs, and I will do one more donation for aluminium. Let's take another. Okay, so this is books. So for the books we have Samsung and HCL. Same. What I will do is for the books I will donate the remaining amount for Samsung. So right now we need 94 more kgs to fulfill that target for Samsung. So I will enter 94 kgs. I will select Samsung. Then I will select the date, the time slot, and for the address I can just enter Pune for now. And once I click donate, our page will be refreshed. Yeah. So now if I click on donate for the books, we can see that the Samsung is no longer appearing in the company list because its target is fulfilled. It no longer requires books, so it won't be visible in the company list right now. And at the bottom we have statistical data for the same, we have the bar chart, and here we have a pie chart which will be representing the categories, like which category has been donated most by the user. So right now we have the papers category. The user has donated like around 179 kgs of total paper. So yeah, this is all about the user dashboard, and we do have a company dashboard as well. So I will be using the company credentials to log in. Okay. Yeah, so this is the company dashboard. We have here the statistics for the current target a company has set for a particular waste and how much target has been fulfilled till now. So for HCL, the metals, the target is 892 kg, but so far they have received for 515 kgs. And if they want to increase their target, they just have to select they have to send a request to us. And if they want to increase the target by 200 kgs, they can just enter 200 and then send a request. And yeah, the request has been fulfilled. We can see the updated target here right now. Yeah, so we can see that it has been increased to 1092. And the dashboard is the bottom dashboard is kind of similar to the one that we have in the user. Yeah. So that was all about the implementation part. So this is our platform.
Yes, and there will be a proper verification process that happens at the drop locations, and only when everything is verified will the confirmation be sent from us to the user that they have successfully donated the waste. And once a company target is reached, then only then will the payment happen between the company to us, and we'll in turn transfer it according to the amount of waste which is transferred by the users using payment APIs, which we are already going to take the information about which we are already going to be taken while the user registers on our platform. And future scope has already been covered. So yes, thank you. This is what we've developed during this hackathon. Yeah, thank you.
So we are ready for the questions if any.
We are open for questions.
I can see that all the judges have questions for you guys. So I would like to start with Aditya sir.
Yeah, hi, thanks. So I had a couple of questions. Firstly, when we talk about waste collection, different types of wastes, the reason that a lot of organizations don't collect them all together is because they all have different verification methods. There are different ways of processing, of course. Raw waste versus processed, there is a, it's not viable for every company to use it that way. So that, I want to understand that if you're taking the collections for all different types of wastes, what is your plan on verification and processing? And just to ask, if it is members of your organization that do that, whether they're trained, that's a different matter. But if that's doing, then how are you effectively not a middle agency in this scenario?
Okay, so I'll go step by step. So the first question about processing, which you mentioned, yes, we know that there are companies who cannot afford to process waste directly, or they have norms which they have to follow. So the clients which we have, they are not only going to be companies, but they're going to be waste processing units as well. So they are also under our client base. They all also come under our client base, which which again have their own sources where they can get waste, but this can be an additional source through us. So this is something we are not looking for profit in this, sir, in turn. So if you see, we are not the middle agency, we're just the coordinators, or the like the bridge between the donors and the collectors. And as you mentioned, there are norms for verification. So this is actually our startup idea. We are very much in the initial stages where we're just developing the software, but the norms and everything, once we actually get into the market and get onto the ground with this, we'll definitely have a proper document and the requirements of that particular waste which that client which is signing a contract with us will have. And depending on that, we'll instruct the volunteers that we have in order to do the required checks.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
Again, all right, well, keeping processing aside for a second, if companies take waste, they directly pay the users, but the pickup of the waste is happening through you, the coordination of volunteers is happening through you, their training is happening through you, coordination between possible waste processors if necessary and companies is happening through you. How do you possibly generate revenue to sustain the organization?
Yeah, so because I already mentioned, initially we will be doing this as a volunteering thing, but later on, once we have a client base, we have a customer base, after that we will be, it's mentioned in our business model, which we put into the form, that once we have a client base and a customer base, we'll be asking a service fee to the clients, but that will be very competitive and it will be very much less as compared to the private agencies which they charge the companies today, or at that point when we reach that point.
But effectively that still brings us back to the agency point, because I want to clear one thing. Just because it's not for profit does not mean it doesn't need revenue. We at community initiatives, we at NGOs, NPOs, because I have been active in that space, revenue is still needed for systems like this to function. And effectively without revenue, all of these moving parts of this sort of a chain stop proceeding. So revenue generation is going to be essential even at those initial stages. Even if you're not generating, there will be some capital necessity, and to understand, and it's going to be very necessary to understand how that's going to happen, because you know, the moment you have a mass amount of waste collection, a place to store it, a way to transport it, it's not going to be something that only volunteers can handle. Individuals may not necessarily have resources for that, but as an organization, it becomes a different matter. So are those problems you've thought about?
So implementation on the ground level, once we actually are on the ground, we've not put in much thought into it. So we have a computer engineering background. So currently we were more focused into development of the platform. we've not put in much thought into what exactly will go into when we are stepping on the ground. But yes, the points you mentioned are really valid. Yes, they have come in our mind, but we've not constructively thought about it yet, as in how to properly execute it on the ground.
All right. Okay, I think those were my questions.
Yeah, thank you.
Maxim, sir, your questions now.
Yeah, so my question is actually about the logistics of that. So you mentioned that in your application, user will be able to choose the company to whom he wants to drop that waste. But for example, in terms of logistic, if company is, for example, in some X city and it's like 300 kilometers far away from the user itself, so how to handle it? And did you think about it that maybe in some point for companies it's not gonna be so convenient to do? And like when we have like some center for waste where people like contribute their waste, it's one thing, so the logistics, it's quite clear. But for example, if company will have like 100 end users in totally different locations, so they have to think about it, how to pick it up all together. So how to organize that? Did you have any idea about that when you were developing the idea?
Yes. So, like we already mentioned in the presentation, the scope of our project currently is only in our own city. We have already decided 3 particular warehouses, which will be the drop locations where the customers can come and drop their waste. For now, the transportation, the companies which we will be targeting initially for our particular platform will be those companies which are based in our city itself. And so the transportation which they will require to transport waste from our warehouses or the drop locations to their particular facility would be their responsibility, not ours.
Okay, thank you.
Tatiana, ma'am.
Okay, so thank you for your presentation. I have also one more question about logistics. You mentioned that user can specify pickup date and the pickup location. But I didn't see that company can provide this information on their dashboard. So, and actually, how are you going to decide when company is available to pick up something?
Okay, so there was this slight glitch in our code where the pickup address is not something which the user will be entering. It will be an auto-filled field which will be coming, and that would be the address of our 3 drop locations which we have in our city. And the drop, so the time slot during which the customer will be dropping that particular waste at our drop location would be at, I mean, they can decide it. But the company to whom we are going to supply this waste that we collect, that will only
Actually,
happen.
a user should come to company and drop, because I thought that pickup means that company should come to user location and pick up items.
No.
Okay,
There was
thank
a
you.
slight glitch on our dashboard. That's
Yeah.
just a coding mistake. It's so the person who is donating the waste, they have to come to our drop location, and then from here we will be, once the target is reached, then the transfer of waste to the company will be happening. So that was
Okay.
just a slight glitch in the code that can be changed in like a minute or so. Yeah.
Okay, yep. Thank you. No more questions.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any more questions, judges? Okay. So thank you, team, and best of luck. You can drop
Thank
out
you so
now.
much.
Yeah, thank you.
Our next and last team for the day is SheBuilds. Their track chosen is community, and the topic of idea pitch is SheBuilds. Team, can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, you're audible. And team, before starting, just inform me once, because I'll be running your stopwatch, okay? You have a time of 10 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
So when you present, just inform me.
Is my
my screen visible?
Yes, it is. Shall I start?
Yeah, I'm going to start. Hello, everybody. And first and foremost, let me start by thanking all of you to be present here and spending so much of time listening to all our ideas. For most of them, it's few minutes past midnight. So thank you. And we are the team Sheetles here to present our idea, Empower. So first, let me start with a quote by Meghan Markle. Women don't need to find a voice. They already have one. And people need to feel empowered to use it. And people need to be encouraged to listen. So this is the inspiration behind our application. This is our team, Shamita, Pritika, Madhumita, and Monisha. So these are the news clippings from all over the world, which shows various kinds of harassment, hurdles that women face every day. These we have narrowed down into these few pointers. Like women every day face harassment in the form of blackmailing, body shaming, stalking, being considered inferior at workplace, feeling inequality and gender discrimination, etc. Because of all these reasons, they feel left out. They feel health issues like depression more often when compared to men. And the reason being that women feel very shy and sometimes scared to talk about this issue because of the feeling that people might blame the girl for what has happened, and because of the fear of being judged. So the solution that we have thought is that women need a platform where they can openly discuss about their insecurities, about the problem they face. And for that to happen, women need to have an anonymous identity where their identity is not sacrificed at all and they can talk about their problems freely. And also women across the globe must be able to help each other because every day, every girl faces some kind of an issue. And if she can talk about it and help others out, that would be a great thing. And last but not the least, this platform must never discourage the girls in any form, but it should be the source of positivity to her. Hence, we came up with our idea, Empower. This is the use case of our application. Empower is a mobile application. Once you're a registered user, you log in and you land on a dashboard. And from this dashboard, you can either start asking a question or you can choose a theme and see all the questions asked by other people. So all you have to do to ask a question is just to choose a theme, give a headline, give a description of your question and just post it. And to whichever theme you're going to post your question, it will be appearing on that respective theme. And as another user, you can view questions asked by other people. And if you feel like you have to comment on it or you have to give answers to it, you're very free to do that. And your timestamp also will be recorded. And all of this will be happening virtually and anonymously. This is the novelty of our app. As we've already mentioned, anonymity is the main focus of what we are using. The messages that are received and sent will always remain anonymous. And this platform is specifically designed for women to discuss their problems and figure out the solutions. Next, we are trying to implement another important feature, that is no hatred or abusive content can be uploaded. No abusive texts or images can be uploaded. We are trying to implement that using TensorFlow modules and NLP. And last, the whole application will be secured using a login authentication. The technology stack that we have used is Flutter, and we have used the tools of Android Studio, Visual Studio Code to develop it. And for the version control, we've used Git and GitHub. As the backend for the database, we've used Firebase, and for the deep learning module, we've used TensorFlow. This is our business model. The key activities, as discussed earlier, the women will be able to post questions, post answers to those questions, and we can, if the content is controversial or if it's not going to help anybody else, we can also report that question. So if a question has more number of reports, that question will be removed and the user will be warned. If the reports keep increasing, the user will be removed from this community. The key partners, the focus group end users, and also the customer relationships are all the women across the globe. The value proportions is same as the novelty, which we just discussed, which is virtual community for women, anonymity of the user, no abusive messages can be uploaded, and if a message is reported, it will be removed. This application is technical and commercially scalable. The key resources will be the mobile application. The cost structure is the cost structure for the database, the backend, which we are going to use currently. And we've also, as part of our future goals, we plan to extend adding APIs and other modules from the websites, which will help women to increase her skills, which will help her to build on her skills. The revenue streams, since we're doing it for the betterment of the entire women community, initially we plan not to have this, initially we plan to ship this app freely. This is the future plans. We are, if everything goes well, we can extend this platform specifically for non-binary men and other sections of the community who really need such kind of an app. And we have yet to complete the implementation using TensorFlow and NLP. So we'll complete the entire thing using that. And as I just said, we'll be using an integration of the application with web or resources which are available online for gaining skills or certificates which will help women to restart or start a career. So let me show you the working model. So this is the prototype we have designed. So once the user logs in using the login credential, which we have just given, she'll be landing on a page like this. So we broadly classified a few themes which we felt were women-centric, like business, motherhood, finance, education, travel, teen stuff, etc. So if we just go into one such theme, we can see all the questions that are posted by people all over the globe. And when we choose one particular thread, we can see that just the headline, the time, the date when it was posted. And this is the username, which is like a nickname, which the user is free to, if the user doesn't want even this to be shown, we can remove that too. And here the problem, the problem or the question which the girl has to post will be posted. And below we can see the comments which have been posted. If in case the user feels that this is an inappropriate content, it can be removed, reported. Otherwise, the user can feel free to comment on this or answer the question which they feel will be bettering this question. And if the girl has to ask a question, they just do it by clicking just one button, and they choose all the different themes which will be supportive to the question, and they give next, and they give a headline, they give a description, and they upload images. Now here on the logic part, it will be assessed by the algorithms that we have given. And once if there is nothing controversial or nothing abusive about the content, she can submit it, and it will appear respectively wherever for example, if she submits in a She Helps theme, again it will appear here, and other users are able to answer and comment on these questions. So this is basically the skeleton of our app, which we were able to do in this 36-hour hackathon. And we're open to questions and suggestions. We hope you liked our idea. If there's anything else, we are here to answer you. Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation, Samita. And now I would request judges, if they have any questions, they can ask them. And I can see again that all of them have their questions. So this time I will request Tatiana ma'am to go first and ask her questions.
Okay, thank you. So thank you a lot for presentation. It's very helpful to have this community. And I have a question, just to get more clarification. If during submission you find that content is abusive, what will be the next step? I understand that you still did not implement it, but like, what is your idea? Like, if some content is abusive, like what should be done?
We'll be having, for example, words which are not appropriate or images which are not appropriate. We'll be training the models according to that. And if those kinds of images are uploaded, if the data sets match, we'll be able to remove that, or will not. That the thing is that the user will not be able to submit the comment, or will not be able to submit the question itself in the first place. So no abusive comment can or no abusive content can get into this portal as such. So that's how it will be implemented. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, but if, for example, user is submitting maybe like 10 times abusive comments, is there a way to block this user?
Yes, that's also possible. So we have given a report button also, as you can see. So if in case the algorithm misses to catch one of them and the number of reports increases, that user will be eventually removed from the whole application. Or if the person is trying to upload more abusive content again and again, that user will be removed from the application as such. They will not be able to have further access to the application.
How initially you will decide that person who is logging in like as a woman?
Anonymity is the key for us. We have been using. So if in case a man just enters, like disguises himself as a girl and enters into this platform, we think it's perfectly fine. If a man can be of spreading positivity into this platform, if he's even if it's a man and he's going to give suggestions which is going to benefit the entire women community, it's perfectly fine. If he's going to indulge in something which is wrong, which is like abusive or which is going to be controversial, again, as we have explained, the algorithm will stop it, and the report count will be increasing, so the user will be removed. So it doesn't matter if a man enters into this application, as long as he's doing good, we are fine with that.
Okay, thank you.
Maxim, sir, you can go next.
Yeah, so my question is, I didn't find the huge difference, I mean, between the already implemented solutions. There are a lot of forums where people anonymously can express their problems and discuss it and so on. So the first question is gonna be why they should use your application instead of like using the same forums. And second question is the business part of the application. How you gonna earn on this? And moreover, if it's gonna be like the application which serves to the people around the world, so it's gonna be most probably quite difficult to maintain it. So for sure you will need some funds for that. So can you explain this? How you're gonna do that?
Yeah, sure. So for answering thing is that initially we are doing this for the betterment of the women community, so we don't actually try to take profits out of this. So it's just about how we are going to host the back end. So for that we have planned to integrate resources from other tools and other online resources. So if they are going to use our application, we'll be charging them to advertise their content. So women also will be getting benefited, like they'll be able to have access to their content and they'll be able to use their resources. So that's how we'll be able to make it. But other than that, we're not here to make any profits out of this application.
Is that all, Maxim, sir?
Actually, yes. Yeah, just only the one thing, like what is the key feature you believe in your application? Because as I said, a lot of people maybe get used to use forums for that. Why they have to switch to your application, for example? What is the most attractive thing in your application from your point of view?
We actually kind of did a research about women communities which are available online. So when we tried to install applications on that part, we found that there was no anonymity at all. Like we had to send a picture of us. We had to take a selfie to confirm that we are a girl, and we had to give our names. We have to sign in using Google or Facebook or etc. using another social media account. So which again nullifies the effect of being anonymous. So the first and foremost key to our application is anonymity. And by doing this, this application is also again, it is going to completely be anonymous for us. So that is the biggest takeaway, that our application will make it stand alone from the others.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I think I have a couple of follow-on questions from two of our past other discussions that came up. So if it is fully anonymous, there is no verification whether a member is, well, a woman or not. How is it different from any other anonymous chat platform? Because you earlier said that if a man disguises himself as a woman and joins in, it's totally all right as long as they're making a positive impact. But personally, I would believe that's highly misleading, and it is a breach of trust.
Yeah, so the thing is, the main objective of our application is that we have to help women out there who are suffering, who are unable to open up about their situation. So I think even if a man comes in and if he's going to talk about stuff, I think if it's going to help the girl, as long as it's going to help the girl come out of a trauma, come out of her problem, I think it'll be beneficial for the girl. So that is what we are aiming for. And most importantly, the number of cases that will happen like this will be very less. And again, it's going to do for the better good. So I think that's how it is.
I want to disagree on one point. I don't think we can say that the cases will be very less because, and unless of course that there's a metric to back that fact that such an action will not happen, because we constantly see people with misleading identities or burners on active social media, simply because we don't have any verification procedures on public social platforms as well. So is there any like I don't think we can say that that's gonna be, we're guaranteed not gonna see cases of this. And if suppose I come onto a platform with and I'm told about it as a safe space, but then I get to know that there's someone else, whether the advice is right or not, but there is someone else hiding their true identity and active there, I would not feel that I've been helped. I would feel scared, because it is, I join in with a certain amount of trust, right? I join in believing that aside from what help someone can potentially give, this is a safe area with a certain group that I am comfortable with. And if I later get to know that someone from outside of this group was there, regardless of what advice they have, that is a breach of trust. And that could potentially trigger a lot of other issues.
The thing is that the entire community is going to be anonymous. So, with the trust that I am going to have on this application is that I'm going to communicate with an anonymous group of people, anonymous community, so that I get back my answers, I get back positive feedback from the others. So I think if the person is going to come into this application with that thought, I think it will be, they won't feel much, like what you said, they won't feel so scared about the thing. So but the thought that I'm coming into this application is that everybody here are going to be anonymous. Maybe I have my own sister from my house inside that application. Maybe I have a person who I've been hating for my whole life into that application. So the thing is, I'm going to come into this application with the thought that everybody here are going to be anonymous. My identity is not going to be revealed. And the person who's going to answer my question, who's going to comment on my post, is not going to, his or her identity will not be revealed. So with that thought, if a person is going to enter into this application, I think they will be positive about the thing.
I think, then effectively, I'm not sure if this solution could be branded as maybe one to cater to women specifically, even at this point, because we've effectively discarded any potential check on that notion. So is it really specific to that, even if it's advertised to cater to that? That's a query, because I know there's one platform. I mean, there are multiple. In fact, you could just embed chats which allow anonymous users to join in without registering and interact. And I remember, because I was once exploring different chat solutions and I came across a few platforms where you could just create your own secret rooms. You don't have to add your register with your Gmail or anything else. And you could join anonymously, and you could effectively have these chat widgets embedded across your website and have people ask queries in them. So is it effectively different from any other anonymous discussion server? You at this point could potentially do that with Discord, because even with Discord, whether you're logging in, your login you might have to create custom, but you don't have to showcase your true name or identity on any server. So even aside from any obscure solutions, a platform like that could facilitate an anonymous space, right? On that front, you could have moderation tools there. You could have, you already have Discord bots for checks and chats. So how is the solution novel?
So we actually did not think about so much about this. So we'll give more thought into this and we'll try to improve more about this.
All right. Secondly, did you get a chance to explore any women-only social networks by any chance? Did you get a chance to explore any women-specific social networks which cater to similar such communities at this point?
Yeah, we did explore three communities, which I don't want to take up names. We did explore a few communities. Two of them were mobile applications and one was a website application. So as I said earlier, all of them required us to show our face, give a login using another social media platform, and like completely show the identity, and whatever content was being posted with the name. So that's how it worked. So we actually had explored a few communities.
I think it's an interesting ethical discussion at this point, because what happens is that as humans, when we're not able to connect identities with people, I'm not sure how that impacts trust and information. While of course this impacts privacy in the sense you have to register on the platform, it is probably easier to trust people when you have a face, a name, and identity connected to them. And I could be totally wrong here, but it's definitely an interesting ethical discussion you should consider, at least if you decide to take this forward, because a platform like this could have a lot of impact. But before a platform like this grows, there's a lot of questions, possibilities that have to be considered.
That you focus more on the trust part of the thing, but as a girl, I know it's difficult for a girl to open up about all the harassment she's gone through, showing her face in front of so many people out there, knowing that people will be able to recognize me. The first thing they'll think about when they see me will be about that particular incident. It will be a trauma for a girl throughout her life, and it's something which happens every day. We see it on the newspapers, we see it on the news, we see it on social media, we see it happen to our friends, we see it happen to ourselves sometimes. So with a face to identity mapping, if a girl has to come out, I'm 100% sure not every girl will be coming out as it would if it had an anonymous backing. So that was the only thing which we had in mind. So that was what we wanted to make it novel, and we wanted to make it look different from the other existing applications. So that's how we're working on it. But I understand all your points are valid. We'll try to work on it, and we'll try to come up with something which will satisfy both the ends.
I'm actually really grateful you brought that up. I personally happen to, while keeping aside my own professional pursuits, I also work with an organization which is very heavily focused on mental health, and these are topics that do come up. I would have a suggestion on this point. I think if anonymity could be optional is something that you should consider. And the reason for that is that with a pure anonymous system, while I see how opening up might become easier, it also, in my opinion, opens up potential avenues for bullying and harassment, because you could potentially be bullied by someone on these platforms. And even if there is a report feature up there, suppose you see, you could always have a message that is missed out, right? At this point, considering we don't have a solution for detection, and you may not necessarily, bullying doesn't need abusive or curse words. Bullying can happen without that. Harassment can happen without that. And a purely anonymous system would, which allows literally anyone to join in without an identity verification, could open up so many more avenues for cyberbullying and cyber harassment. And I feel that that risk has to be held at the same weight, because what if that your platform ends up enabling that?
Yeah, I totally understand. Yes, we'll work on that.
Rohan, I think you're muted.
Is that all, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. Team, you can leave now, and thank you. And best of luck for the results.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, judges, for having that deep conversation. And thank you, Rohan, for hosting this beautiful hackathon. Thank you. Thank you all. Bye. Have a good day.
To everyone listening to us right now, even on YouTube, the results will be declared tomorrow at 8 p.m. because tomorrow is the final ceremony and the ending ceremony. So we'll be piling up the results right now. And I would like to give a huge thanks to Max, Tatiana ma'am, Aditya Rai, Detto Brai sir and our two other judges who are not here today currently. And as a small token of gratitude from our side, I would like to present all three of you some small e-tokens, and the other judges which are not present here, they'll be sent their tokens via email. So Mohan, can you please present the tokens? Tatiana ma'am first. Now for Max sir. And now for Aditya sir. Mohan, can you listen to me? I said Aditya sir now. Mohan. And I would like to thank the judges again for taking out their precious time to join us here today and for making this interaction really much more innovative and helpful for us, because we could have never known the flaws of these ideas and what their true potential is without you. A really huge thanks to all of you. And now we'll be ending the event. So can you all please smile for a moment so we can take a selfie? That will be it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem, ma'am. Param Bhaiya, you can end the YouTube live now.